doesn't quite work, does it?
Well, you don't have to say there's a nice degree of. Just say there's a nice parallel.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you for your.
No problem. No problem.
If I'd have had more time, I'd have made it shorter. That's the trick, isn't it? Right, Bashir, round the wicket he comes. That's dabbed by Saud Shakil. They're going to have to hurry. The throws rocketing in. But they'd made their ground, and Pakistan move on to 81 for 3. I don't think I've jingled up.
There's a funny story about tip-up seats I can tell in a moment.
Whole cricketing world
Holds their breath.
holds their breath to say,
What have you got?
what is Forthy going to tell us about bucket seats this morning? As up onto his toes goes Shah Massood, building at cover. Right, tell us, Forthy.
One of Josh. It was a Josh Widdicombe story. It's not one of mine.
Oh.
And when he was about 6 or 7, he went to the cinema for the first time, but he didn't. Because 6 or 7-year-olds won't reveal. I'll break off.
Yeah, Bashir. Oh, that's edged, but it edged all the way along the ground. And Stokes rather fumbles it at first slip. Encouragement again for Bashir, who's getting plenty of turn by the bucket load back to Forthy.
You can't confess to anything when you're 6 or 7. So he said, "Sure, yeah, I've been to the cinema before." So he sat down. He couldn't understand why he was a foot taller than everybody else. He was sitting on the top of the slip-down seat, so we watched the whole film perched on the top of the because he didn't realise they tipped down.
Oh, that's driven straight to Crawley. No run.
Yeah, it's very believable. It is.
Very believable, yes. Sort of thing. We've all done embarrassing things when we were young.
Oh, yes. Right.
Someone
Show him Bashir. I'll play this while he bowls this ball. Quietly in the background, it's defended back to him by a man of Yorkshire of late, previously of Derbyshire, of course, Shah Massood. And there is no run. They're rattling through the overs as they did yesterday. It's 81 for 3 Messers.
Jay Grover points out that Agger's instrument of choice is in fact euphonium.
Oh, is it? Metars and euphonium.
Paul Higginbotham says, "Good morning from all of Bangkokonians." Is that what you call these?
Is that what people from Bangkok?
MD says, "I was having the Jack Leach music at work the other day, a classic indeed." And he says, "Morning all." Mayank says, "Jaiswal's gone caught behind by Phillips first over, 70 for 4 India."
Here is indeed Jack Leach. And it's defended back to him by Saud Shakil. All left hand at the moment for Pakistan.
All left hand. I think I can do every word of the Mr. Shifter PG Tips ad. If you put well, it starts off with.
Do you know the piano's on my foot?
That's how it ends.
Oh, is it?
This
one moves back in, as it would, to the left-handed Saud Shakil.
I think
from
it
the
goes.
left arm of Jack Leach.
Getting the hang of it. Mind the banisters, son. Oh, tea, Mr. Shifter. Lovely, refreshing brew. Thanks very much, madam. Dad, do you know the piano's on my foot? You own it, son. I'll play it. I think that's the entirety of the...
Thrown up by Jack Leach. Pushed as we get the PG Tips. Is it the PG Tips chimps, isn't it? Defended, but gets a single anyway. Does Saud Shakil just push to mid-on? Brings Shah Massood back onto strike.
They do look a little anachronistic, perhaps, in the 21st century.
Well, yes.
Well, seeing as they're based on the Goons, basically.
Yeah, I remember. Didn't they do a sailing one? Because he was.
They did do a sailing one, but there's a rip-off of Ted Heath.
Captain Hampstead. Yeah, Captain Hampstead. Duck. They're seagulls.
Duck.
Okay. There is the sort of backwards square or leg gully, but it's very short position. It's Ollie Pope.
There was a Tour de France one
straight
as well.
to the game. No run.
Avez-vous un cuppa?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there was.
Avez-vous un cuppa?
Right, in comes Jack Leach. Everything. Oh Lord, Bear. Everything's gone dark. It's all gone very, very dark on the screen. That's pushed away into the onside. No run. Okay. No, it seems to be coming back to life in pieces, one bit by bit. Wow. Honestly, it's like Russian roulette in the studio with the computers. That one of them's going to get you. That one's worked her way around the corner by Shah Massood, but straight to number 45. No run. Another over has flown by. It's 82 for 3 after 27 misses.
So there's nothing new on YouTube. I'm just going to check Twitter, but there should be another wicket soon if we're going to maintain the parallels. West Austin Leeds says, afternoon all from a warm land of West Oz, hoping to get as many wickets as Tassie did against WA in the one day today, all out for 53 with batters 5 to 11 making a combined score of 0.
Bashir again. There's that turn away from the left-handed Saud Shakil, who just plays that easily, tidily, unfussily down to Rayan Ahmed at point, deep point, and they'll take a single.
Choose your journey, choose your adverb. Can you
Yes.
Can you name the 4 singles on parallel lines, Tony?
Oh, no, not at the moment.
Okay, fair enough.
You might need to give me an odd clue here and there, and I'm sure I'll get it very quickly. 2 slips go down. That's played off the back foot. We've proven that England certainly have struggled when playing off the back foot with scuttling deliveries. That one got up enough and was easy again for Shakir just to push into the offside. 84 for 3, 183 runs.
By the way,
It's what they're
Veronica
trailed by.
pointed out that the one run that West Australia got in losing their last 8 wickets was a wide.
Yes, it was a wide. There's got to be some sort of a record there. I don't know.
Yeah.
what.
Crikey, I should
thing.
say. That's just mind-boggling.
Although, you know, we're talking one-day matches. I'm sure Mongolia's managed something along those lines.
Well, maybe, but 8. I mean, eight wickets for no runs and 1 wide. Rather ruined by when I click through to the scorecard, there's this rather childish way that Australians have. They put little ducks instead of zeros next to the batsman. This is
They
most
do. Slip and a leg slip. Bashir in.
Ooh,
Well, that took a
what happened there?
bit
Was
of
that to the edge
But,
or was that straight
no, I
through?
think that was an edge, but it rather died. Lots of
was a-
excitement around the bat. No
It was
real
a thickish
excitement.
edge, and when you're standing up as a keeper,
Well, let's
they're
have a
hard
look.
to take.
It's,
have a
no,
look.
it well, he angles the bat. I think that one.
Yeah,
If that
it's
was
an
an
edge.
if that was an edge, that was also a drop by Jamie
Yeah, it was-
Smith. One
yeah.
hates
And
to
it-
speak ill of the Surrey lad after such a
At
great
the
night
same
yesterday.
moment, Safraz was dropped in the slips in Pune. These
in
matches
the
are
parallel
crazy.
universe, as that one's
Yes.
just prodded
Yeah,
to mid-wicket. They'll
think
take a
that
quick
has-
single.
That does have to go down as a drop. I mean, it was a reason. Let's have a look. I think it's a reasonably thick edge, so
Yeah, it was, and it was.
that makes it very hard when you're standing
Catchable
up.
height though. That was nudged again to short mid-wicket. They were lively running. They had one more to the score. It's 88 for 3. Oh gosh, and another over has gone.
Yeah.
We'll be done. We'll be finished by lunchtime.
Oh, and we have a super chat.
Oh,
Find your
88
super
for 3.
chat,
What's it?
please.
Oh, yes. Okay. Super chat, super chat, super chat. Here it is.
Super chat. So Hattie the Baddie is very kind to send us £5 and says, after a night of insomnia, Grand Duchess today, please.
Oh,
Grand
she
Duchess.
was Baroness
Hattie.
yesterday, wasn't she?
Fine.
Yeah.
So she's now a
I
Grand
think
Duchess.
that's
I think
so a
that's
reminder
super
to all our listeners, you can buy your title for the day just with a super chat.
You absolutely can, whatever you've ever wanted to be. So,
As long as it's not one from the SS, I think we draw the line there.
Well,
Yeah, probably.
yes. Yeah.
Leah says morning all,
Morning, Leah.
and Cornelius
No connection there.
Davis from Jamaica says,
At all. That was the most unfortunate bit of timing there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
3.
Oh, Hendo, Messi. Or they can be Hendo. I'll call you Hendo if you want. I mean, when we're talking about titles.
Right, we do have. Well, we're interesting now. We have 2 short mid-on, so like a double and slightly a double wide on Hayden. It's the best way I can describe it. Hoping perhaps Shah Masood will pop one up in that direction, which does make logical sense when the left armour is bowling more than
it
it
does.
does for the off spinner.
Yes,
That's defended
I
into
mean-
the onside there. No run.
It's funny, isn't it? The passion has changed over the years from the bat pad man to the on Haydens and the off Haydens.
Round the wicket comes Jack Leach, well defended by Shah Masood. England want this breakthrough.
I don't know if the bowling's changed or whether it's just fashion. maybe some analysis has gone on as to where the ball's most likely to go. I suppose it was always very difficult to snatch those up if they came straight off bat and pad. Sometimes they didn't.
Leach giving it plenty of air. That's a wristy whip by Shah Massoud, or perhaps more of a wristy flick. Well-known 70s porn star. Towards square leg. And they take another single. It's 89 for 3.
Incorrigible.
Yeah, I don't know where quite. I think it's just that I'm getting up at 4. I reach my peak round about 10:30, and then it's all downhill from there for the rest of the day, basically. Leach, in he comes. That's defended off the back foot by Saud Shakil. Again, they jog the easiest of singles. They're finding the gaps a tad too comfortably, Forthy.
Yeah, sorry, I froze for a moment. I'm just back in again. All I heard was a tad too comfortably 4th, so I'll have to, backfill what went before it.
I don't need any more information about your peaking either.
Leach defended well, threw it up. Probably just pulling a tad too full, maybe, Forthy. If you want to get the benefit of the turn, you're going to need to take a risk and get it and pitch it just a little bit shorter, perhaps.
It does have. I'm not saying it's a little early to describe it as ominous, but
it's defended again. Back to the bowler.
Not much is happening.
It's the end of the over. I think it's 94-3. No breakthrough for England yet.
Cornelius Davis says, I'm from Jamaica and I'm not seeing you guys. It's black. Try refreshing the screen, Cornelius, because it's coming through fine on YouTube for me. Leah's angling for an invitation again to Vinyl Maelstrom. Forthy.
Is this like a daily routine? Just one thing, one jog a day, and finally Forthy relents?
No, it's like Manus Labuschagne going on at the captain saying, can I bowl? Can I go out? Can I bowl?
Well, ask her to send through something she'd like to talk
Bashir.
about, which is not too niche.
That's to Leach. That's the golden rule of if you've just finished your over, the ball's going to come to you first ball of the next one. Leach is at backward point.
There are certain golden rules. There's the revenge of the old player, isn't there? He'll always score against his old player.
Oh, gosh, yeah. That one is nicely worked away to mid-wicket. They take another single. Yeah, that was my point, Forthy. The 1s and 2s are coming, flowing for Pakistan. We've not seen any real out-and-out aggression, I don't think.
No, I don't need to. I mean, we're getting to the 30th over now, which is exactly the moment when things calm down a bit in the England over. And
thrown up by Bashir.
England were
no run this time.
England were around about 6 down, weren't they, about the 30th over? So you could argue Pakistan may be in the ascendancy here. You might say that.
Yeah, you might. Some might say that.
Some might say that. Many people are saying. Many people are saying this. Donald would say.
That is defended right in front of the lower part of middle and off stump. And it needed to be by Shah Massoud as well, because that did not quite the ankle-biting scuttler.
Not far off. That's a powerful argument. Powerful argument for not playing the sweep on this.
That one turns and beats the outside edge. That's the best ball of the morning by Bashir. Drifted in, bit turned away sharply. Too good for thee, son, Shah Massoud, who will recognise that, having played for Yorkshire. And what a ball, Forthy! What a ball! Best ball of the morning. Yeah, that is
maybe best ball of the match. I mean, it's absolutely unplayable. And if you're bowling last on this strip, it does augur well.
Julie Driscoll, Brian Augerwell and the Trinity as Bashir comes around the wicket. On to the back foot goes Shah Massoud, and well, again, it's more of a steer or a guide down to Rayan Ahmed, who's at deep cover.
With a little flourish with his throw there, a little flourish as if to say,
here I am. 92 for 3, 30 overs. As you said, the magic time, and Messers.
The Grandad Duchess Hattie says, if I grovel, could I have a quick glass of Richie Bena's Very Dark? It's quite a long jingle, that, so we need a decent play gap for that to be played.
Yeah.
So David Durrell says, I assume Gruppenführer title is out of the question. Great so,
Yeah, that's very good.
And Leah says, yes, kind of, Tony, in relation to what you were saying.
Yeah, no, I was saying that it's a daily jog to Forthy. Leah, you'll have to give Forthy an idea of what type of specialism in terms of musical genre. That nips back. Leach has a shout. No, says umpire Sharpadula. He got a couple wrong yesterday, mind you, but I think he was, as you rightly say, outside the line that time.
He got one fairly averagely awful, and he got one which was an absolute stinker, where the bat was about 3 yards away from the ball.
He did. He's not quite the Stuart Atwell of umpires, but he's not up there at the top level.
Yeah, I must admit I haven't come across him. I don't
comes Leach, that one whistles back as well, kept low. It's not easy. So we've seen in the last 5 balls, really, if you take the end of Bashir's over and the beginning of Leach's, a couple of cracking deliveries where the batsman has been well and truly beaten. This one is getting just that bit fuller and more easy to defend for Shah Massoud when it is flighted up. And
it's not easy like a Sunday morning. It's more. No one ever said it was going to be easy by the Inspiral carpets.
Right, slip and a leg slip. Nips back in to Sham, pushes to one of those. Is it got the 2 short mid-ons? I think it may just be the one. I can only see
one.
Yeah, I can only see. Yeah, it's only one this time. There is square leg as well. There is a mid-on as well as the 2 slips. Leach, that one kept low, duck back in, nipped back in really. Shah Massoud shovels it away towards mid-wicket.
He's firing them in a bit, Jack. Maybe give it a little more air.
Well, do you know what? I'm almost thinking the opposite.
No,
the ones he's given the air tend to have been the ones he's bowled fuller. It's the ones that he fires in a little bit more and a bit shorter, like that ball, that just look a little bit more dangerous. That though is defended again, and another over has flown by. It's 92 for 3 after 31 misses.
West Aussie Lead says, last time I saw WA collapse like this, we were lucky enough to have a certain DK Lilly to bowl and win for WA. That was a great match. It was back in 1976 where WA was all out for 77, including 5 ducks. And Queensland were out for 62, and Dennis Lilly got Viv Richards for a duck, Greg Chappell for 2 amongst others. And I was there, and that was fantastic.
Was that at the Wacker then?
It was indeed, yeah.
Is there a sense of loss with the Wacker disappearing?
Not for me, because the Wacker hasn't disappeared, and it's actually good to watch cricket at these days.
Defended out towards Crawley, who's at short cover, and there is no run.
Sorry, it was a dreadful ground for watching if you couldn't afford to buy a spot in the shade.
Yes.
They were really bad at getting spots in the shade.
Round the wicket comes Bashir. Forward comes Saud Shakil in stout defence. No run.
Contrast between the Wacker, lovely old ramshackle stadium, and the MCG, which is a slightly soulless concrete bowl.
Yeah. Well, the Perth Stadium is actually a really good cricket watching venue.
Thrown up by Bashir. Defended again by Saud Shakil. Saud Shakil, he started off pretty well in this series in the first game, in the 82. It was Bashir who got him in that game. He made 29 in the second innings and 4 at the second test at Multana, but 31. Leach got him LBW in that. So he's fallen to both this opening attack as it is at the moment. That's steered to backward point. Once again, no run. Bashir's been on his mark this morning. The criticism has been he's a little bit loose, Forthy, but and he's not so far. He's been quite the opposite.
Well, he's been asked to bowl far more in the last year than he's ever bowled before, so it's not surprising perhaps that he doesn't have the
edgily out towards short cover.
These things goes on his head. I remember when Nathan Lyon first emerged on the scene. He didn't have the metronomic accuracy he does now, for sure.
Well, I should say India are 83 for 5. Rishabh Pant is
what did New Zealand end up with?
259.
That puts them in the box seat again, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's driven back by Saud Shakil. to Bashir. Again, another over has whipped by. It's 92 or 3. I feel like I'm living life in sort of fast forward mode here.
Yeah.
Messers.
Grand Duchess Hattie says 5 seconds of the Richie Benno Dark Jingle would suffice.
Really keen.
Mike says Clark's slog sweep bowled by Phillips, 83 for 5. Sorry, Pant slog sweep bowled by Phillips, 83 for 5.
It really is very, very dark out there. You can't necessarily see it at home on your TV screens, but it is very dark.
There you go. That's actually slightly more than 5 seconds.
Nicely done. Leah says, she said, I sent Forthy a tweet because I can't find him on Blue Sky with what vinyl related I would like to dive into. There you go. Forthy.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, I'm not really on Twitter either. So what I will do is I will... Is Leah on Facebook or Messenger? Messenger will be good for me. If you can find me. Okay, why doesn't she become a friend of Sombrero Fallout or a friend of Vinyl Maelstrom on Facebook?
Oh, then she'd get your newsletters.
And she can get my newsletters then as well.
I always say, I wonder what Forty's written to me about. And then I realise I'm getting the same one that probably thousands of other people are getting.
No. Well, maybe. I don't know about that.
I enjoy your newsletters, Forty.
Whereas with Annie and
interesting.
County Cricket Matters, let me say, you get a personalised envelope when County Cricket Matters arrive.
Oh, Annie.
Has taken her 2.5 years to figure out that I don't have an H in my name, but
I think we're due a change, Tony.
we are. But the bear is yet to appear, so I'll keep moving until he does. That one's pushed into the onside of Leach by Shah Massoud. There's no run, so I assume one more over for this trio until the bear...
Is Ajit in the waiting room?
Yes, of course he is. Does a one-legged duck swim in circles?
Rhetorical.
Yes. Leach in, thrown up, nicely flicked away off his pad by Shah Massoud. Shah Massoud, yeah, another single for him.
There we are.
The bear is here. Do you want to take... Oh, you better wait till the end of this over, I guess, because they go flying... magnanimously gave me another one. Probably on a ratio of overs per commentary word spoken, I'm doing all right because you get so many in half an hour. Okay, there is still the slip. There is the short leg gully. And that nips back to Saud Shakil, who defends too that short leg gully, and there is no run. 93 for 3. We've gone through the first half hour. England haven't made the breakthrough. That'll be a frustration for them and a relief.
10 overs in half an hour.
I just put in Guerrilla Cricket Day 3 and I ended up on a old Sri Lankan test. And the first thing I read was, what are the chances Forthy has a book on orgasms in his collection from Sigir Park? I don't think we want that. I don't think I do.
Dear. Oh dear. By the way, Grand Duchess Hattie says thank you very much for that.
Oh, that's all right. Your Grand Duchessness, you are most welcome. I'm here to serve. Defended into the onside, no run.
And Leah says 93 for 3. Facebook.
Right, I'll have a look on Discord, which I think I am on, although I never got on it. We'll find a way to communicate, Leah, don't worry.
Well, again, he's pushed through a little bit quicker by Jack Leach, but it's nicely defended onto a short third. They'll take a single. Ben Stokes goes racing after it. Puts in a throw. I don't think there was a danger of a run out, although he looks frustrated. Oh no, but nearly an overthrow, right, okay. Yeah, he turns, throws very quick. Oh, it was a horrible throw, that's probably why they thought about it. I'm not even sure he was aiming towards the bowler's end. I just think he got it wrong. Anyway, there was no damage done from an England perspective. It's 94 for 3. I'm going to take my leave. The bear is going to slide in, and we'll see you in a bit.
And we're up to date on messages. Thank you all very much. I'll see you in half an hour.
Thanks, Messi. Hello, Ajit. How you going?
Hello. Good morning, all our listeners, wherever you are. Good day. I'm all right. I managed to wake up a little before broadcasting time, so not bad.
That was the first ball. It all happens too quickly in here. I think it was out to the offside and they got a single.
Well, it's spinners bowling. At least England are doing slightly better.
Yeah,
now.
India falling apart at home. What's happening? That's defended up towards mid-on, and there's no run. Is the pitch doing loads of stuff out there, or is it just
The pitch is
batting
actually
crap?
pretty steady.
Oh, right.
Sorry to interrupt you. It is pretty steady, but I think a couple of rash shots may have been played. I have not seen how Kohli got out. I saw how Pant got out.
What,
It was
trying to
just a
slog
hike
it?
across.
Yeah, well, he lives by the sword and dies by the sword, doesn't he? That one is played up to mid-off, and there is no run. That's
There was a single.
sorry, a
took a
single.
run.
Yeah, that's what I meant. He's a new aggressive
Yes.
Test batsman. If you want the fun, you've got to accept the shit that comes on the other side every once in a while. It's just
That's the thing. Well, Sarfraz seems to be playing the same way, but more importantly, I think the couple of pretty 30s would hurt. Look at how Saud and Chan are doing here.
yeah, true. That one is cut out to deep cover, and there is a single. I just think the pitch is generally slow and low. It's just the odd one. I think after about an hour, when probably the roller's worn off, you might get a bit more inconsistent bounce, and that's the one that gets you out, right? It all looks pretty slow, and the odd one turns and beats you, and then all of a sudden one's going to shoot and cause trouble. I mean, that's pretty much 3 wickets yesterday.
In this case, here I'm also thinking, is it time to get the inconsistency in the length and line?
Well, there's natural in that. I think that was just clipped off the pads by South Kill out to mid-wicket, and there's no run.
No, they ran a single.
Sorry, I'm getting a single. Fuck, shut up.
It's too early in the morning.
It's too early
I
in the morning.
understand,
What was I going to say? I was going to say something. Saud is facing up that's too full by Bashir. It's just clipped off the toes out towards long leg. They should come back for a couple. They do indeed.
Yes.
And the score moves on to 99. On a pitch so slow, the actual right length is the degree for getting it wrong is so small. It's very difficult to get it done just right. You got no. I can't think of a word to.
Well,
you know what I mean.
let me tell you. It's more like there's a chance that you can do too much. It's about doing just enough. What Washington Sundar did yesterday, for example, doing just enough so that even on a turning pitch, you're hitting the stumps all the time. You're causing that jeopardy. Anything on socials in the meanwhile?
No, there's nothing on socials. I was just having a look actually at Pakistan's middle order and their averages against spin versus pace here. Saud Shakil's average against spin is 73, Mohammad Rizwan 99, and Salman Ali Agar is 85. Compared
99.
to that's about double their averages against pace.
Yeah, well, it might be flat turners that don't turn. You never know how many innings they had.
Yeah,
First ball
true.
was just knocked into the leg side, and there was no run. Second ball, now that's worth an appeal. That's close. It's a question of whether it hit him in line. I think it's going on to hit the stumps.
No.
I don't think it's in line.
Nah, that's the point. I think he just got outside the line. He's pretty nifty in the crease, Saud Shakil, against spinners. Apparently he's suspect against pacers. That's what we read.
Well, Atkinson's wicket yesterday, the ball just scooted.
Yeah, okay. Maybe one of those. But
That one does turn, but the problem with this line is it's well outside the off stump. He plays it out to that short mid-wicket again, and there's no
It's
run.
definitely worth bringing Atkinson on for an exploratory couple of overs before too long.
I think so. I would always say give it that little change up, that little bit of difference, pace, length.
Yeah. That's defended by Saud, and there is no run. He's into the 30s now.
Also, I think Atkinson can use the older ball slightly better now. Maybe get.
Well, I think the
look
older,
for
softer
reverse.
ball will have more variation in bounce as well.
Of course.
No, that's bat pad. I think a big appeal from England, but again, I think there was a bit of bat pad came down the track. He was a long way down. Probably hit him outside the line. Not a lot really going for it, I would say, with that one. That's no
That's
run.
all right. It's allowed. It's okay to be excited about it, but you're right. I don't think there's a whole lot there. The bowler will give it a fair shot. Maybe the keeper will join, but that's it. We move on.
This time it's a bit shorter and a bit wider. Kill goes across, works it out to square leg. Harry Brook is in front of square, and there is no run to any over. 99 for 3 over to you, 40.
Philip Shaw, apropos of I'm not exactly sure what, says Sun Ra is extremely wonderful to collect and is never ending. That is true. You will never get to the end of Sun Ra's prolific output. Hattie the Batter 2486, smash that like button and subscribe.
Yes.
And Leah says, hi, Ajit, did you go to see the Sweeney Todd musical?
Well, we decided against it. I think my girlfriend was a little afraid we might fall asleep amidst all the singing or lose track of our sanity or whatever. But yeah, we couldn't. It was a 3 hours musical. We were a bit worried.
It looks
skipped
quite
it.
pretty, doesn't it, really? That mountain in the background. Bashir is in. It's cut by Sean Masood. They think about a single, and they decide not to take it.
I think those are the Margala Hills. I think it's close enough that you can see it from there. I'm not a real expert in the geography of that part of the world, but those are indeed very, very pretty. Those are the Margala Hills.
Oh, now that's gone. And Shah Masood has tried to... That's a great ball from Bashir. It's pitched maybe outside leg even, it's turned sharply. Shan has gone to turn it around the corner. It's taken a big turn, caught the outside edge of the bat, leading edge as he's turned the face on it. It's gone to carried, funnily enough, to a second... Was it Pope?
No, it was it's more like a gully. He was further up, closer to the
bat.
Yeah,
he's kind of in a Trescothic on your knees, very close with a helmet on, second slip / gully to the spinner, and it's carried to him. And we have to say goodbye to Shah Masood, and that is definitely the breakthrough England were looking for.
The crowd says, the crowd says, the crowd says,
I'll tell you what, I did think that was a particularly good catch because he's not necessarily expecting it there. It's a leading edge, and leading edges usually go a little squarer than that. But Ollie Pope, his greatest strength is his close-in fielding.
Well, in this case, he turned the face of the bat, looking to sort of flip it into the leg, and that's why it flew a bit faster as well. So that was well judged.
Yeah. Well, we saw a few edges earlier. Just didn't carry as well. I mean, I think you've got to be playing a shot. That's why he's close in. That's why he's got the helmet on. It's a very slow, low pitch. What else can you say? It's quite fun, though.
I mean, I would say, not to disagree with you wholeheartedly, but I think it's this one is a bit more low, but at least there's even pace on it yet. It's not yet all that slow. It's not yet broken up that much.
No, but it's still slow. I mean, there's no pace in the pitch. I mean, it's not carrying.
It's not a green hitting lead.
No.
everyone knows he's not supposed he can hit the ball. Really quite far if the bowling's a father and the short to flow. Oh, he bats and he keeps, and that's what the deal is, because he's Muhammad Rizwan.
Bashir was very happy. It's good bowling.
I suppose it's only the second morning, so we don't know whether those cracks are open up yet.
Well, I was listening to the TV, and whoever's the, I presume it's, I can't remember who the Pakistan main man is on the TV.
Ramiz Raja,
Ramiz Raja, yeah.
Holy cow, okay.
It might have been him. He was saying he reckoned it'd be all right for the first session, but it would
Start breaking up.
Things would start happening this afternoon.
In the meanwhile, Sarfraz has chipped one straight to mid-off. And he's out 95 for 6.
Jesus Christ, what's going on? How many is that? Is that a 3-test series or just a 2-test series?
It's just a 3-test series in India. I really can't afford to lose anything more at home, because otherwise they'll have to win 5 out of 5 in Australia. How many or who has ever done that?
Well, so and New Zealand are in 3rd place in that list, is it? So that would be New Zealand, Australia then?
Yeah,
Could be.
The Kiwis.
Could be. Wow. That one turns sharply into Rizwan. He gets right forward though, inside edge maybe onto pad, and there is no run. Is it?
Once he gets his eye in, you can expect Rizwan will be a bit more proactive against the spin.
Wow,
with the sweep on both.
See, I think the right-handers have got propensity to be able to, the LBWs come into play, and the bolds. That's played into the leg side. There's no run.
Is it just my feeling, or is actually Bashir bowling a bit faster this morning?
He's varied it a little bit. I actually think generally this test he's bowled slow. I mean, over the summer and stuff, you watch his speeds and there was low to mid 90s consistently. I always thought that was too flat, too fast. That one's turned big, but it's turned from about middle and gone way down the leg side. Let's toss it up outside that off stump so we can get one to turn back through the gate.
There is this thought process on a pitch that's going to definitely turn. You can make it difficult for a good batter by bowling it that much faster.
Yeah, that one is attempted drive by Rizwan, gets a missed time inside edge of the bat onto his boot, and there's no run. I think you just still got to vary your pace, right? Generally, if you bowl faster, you bowl flatter. And I think if you've got a turning track, you actually want to give it a chance to bite. So you definitely want to vary your pace, throw a few up there, let it drop.
Right. Is that the end of the over?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Leah, Tangerine Dream and Hawkwind are also good subjects for collections. Very prolific, and in the case of Hawkwind, there are a ton of bootlegs. Philip Shaw Trapmaster Replica, best album of all time. Well, most successful experimental album of all time, maybe. Hattie the Batty, so my full title is Grand Duchess of Dark, in a Richie B sort of. And Mayank Safraz mishits the mid-on, gone for 11, 95 for 6 India.
Well,
Reverse sweat.
oh,
by
that's fielded. Good
Sam.
gods.
Really good, well fielded. I think.
How did he do that?
I think he anticipated that when he saw him go down for the reverse sweep, and Stokes went to his left and managed to cut the ball off before it got past him. It's a good bit of fielding.
I mean, for a man who's about 6'3", I suppose, so nimble. Good gods.
Super fit.
He is.
super fit. Leach over the wicket. Sal goes back and just plays it into leg side, and there's no run.
And, well, I think Tangerine Dream I can recommend. I've been recommended this by Leah as well, apropos to that tweet that we heard. It's pretty good.
All right.
For me, it was sort of an introduction to alternate music scene, more or less. I didn't know much of these sort of bands, but all right.
Well, Saad has gone for a reverse sweep. I don't know if Rizwan coming out has made him change his mind on what he's going to do, but suddenly he's starting to play some shots. It's one successful reverse sweep and another one in the space of 4 balls. We've seen nothing really aggressive from him all morning.
This is something I'm looking forward to, frankly. Pakistan have breached 100, but Rizwan against Leach. I think this is something I'm looking forward to. One is a very, very good exponent of the length. The other will not let you sit on a length. I'm looking forward to this battle right here.
Well, yeah. Needless to say, that I think Pakistan need at least a 40-run lead on the first innings to make this an even game. The pitch is only going to get worse. So it'll be interesting to see how they go about it. Still, I mean, England I think it's pretty much evens at the moment. England get another wicket here, and England are ahead of the game.
I would say England are slightly ahead, even considering they have 150 odd runs to play with. But
Well, I would normally say that, but I look at this. Okay, Rizwan hasn't done, but a lot of their runs have actually come from Salman. The next guy in, Aga Salman.
Exactly.
You know.
They
And
have
Jamal's
some.
done some decent damage as well. So
They do have
they
some
do bat
significant-
deep. I mean, they've got another 2 wickets. England have to wheedle out before I think they could maybe knock over, get some cheap wickets. As that one squares up Rizwan a little bit, plays it out through point, and there's no run. Does
And
turn.
He's a
think
bit miffed, actually, because I think Saud Shakil simply ran down the pitch almost half the way, and Rizwan is really pissed because he thought there was clearly no run. It was actually a short point guy simply escorting the ball to see if they would run. Saud Shakil had nearly fallen into that trap. And Rizwan is really, what are you doing?
Was he looking? Then he started looking up the sky, gesticulating
hard,
about
is it?
something. I don't know. I think it might be spider cam. Do they have spider cam? Don't even know if they've got spider cam.
I think they do have a spider cam here. Yeah, it's a good point. But what had that had to do with the run? Oh, there you
No,
go.
they don't have a spider cam, but they do have a drone. Maybe the drone was
Oh.
flying too low and irritating Rizwan.
Maybe. But okay.
Not that many people in again this morning. Leach around the wicket. Tosses that up, swept hard. Presumably there's a man out there. Is there a man out there? Yeah, there is a man out there.
I think that's,
Oh, they come back for 2. Good running in the end. Better throw.
I think he was all right with the throw, but Rizwan was motoring along. Yeah, that's just to see if there's any chance you lose track of that. Otherwise, yeah, it's a well run too. There we see him practicing all those nifty sweeps on the length and some hikes through leg. Ready for today.
Well, yeah, but one of those ones that bites and turns sharply is probably going to catch the top edge and go straight up in the air. Here's
Well,
hoping.
That's what you want
Yeah.
if you're a bowler.
Indeed. Leach around the wicket. There's a slip. There is a gully. That's quite flat. And defended by Rizwan. Run rate's only 2 point. I mean, England did manage to get in the high threes, even though it was tricky. And I think the problem is if you don't sweep right, you've either the runs are quite slow if the field is quite suffocating. I mean, that's the one thing about the sweep shot. It allows you to score runs. It releases pressure. It's a risk shot.
I think there's a room for such a test or a series like this, because an exciting 170 is still an exciting 170, I suppose. So that's still good. A tough earned 170. Sorry.
That's right. Leah points out Sri Lanka are currently third in the WTC World Test Championship.
Right,
But they have it a bit tougher, I think. And between them and South Africa, there's a chance per se. And Kiwis have lesser of the chance. But South Africa will need to win 4 of their 5. I think Sri Lanka will need to win every one of their tests. Between India and Australia, they need to win 4 of their 7.
Leah's
They both have
send you some experimental German electronica, Ajit, so look forward to that.
Oh, lovely. Driven out to cover, and there is no run. Not a fan of electronica, never was really.
I've taken a subscription of Tidal, or I've reactivated it recently. More of that shot.
Oh, that one turns. Nice bit of turn from about middle and leg. Beats the outside edge of South, kills, bounces and prods forward.
Also, by how much did it miss the off stump, dear gods? That was close.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Okay, off stump was not really in threat, but well bowled. Really well bowled.
Yeah, definitely well bowled.
And Ashwin goes 103 for 7.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What a press zone in India. That's defended up to, out into the covers. Gets halfway to the boundary, stops and is fielded by Duckett, and there's 1 run.
Clearly, you don't want to be in the final of the World Test Championship, but Ashwin got a real grubber. He had no chance.
Well, that's, that can happen even at home if you prepare these wickets. It does become a bit of a win the toss.
Yeah.
Becomes
And
so
just
important.
in case you're wondering, so New Zealand got 259 on their first innings, and India are currently 103 for 7.
Jesus Christ. It's a long way back. That's defended into the onside, and there's no run. I imagine the pitch only gets worse. I mean, is it the absolute Bunsen? I haven't seen any of it.
New Zealand also struggled a little, or they started very well. They made the best use of the first new pitch, but then India stuck back. But now from here, it's quite something else.
Rizwan goes back, tries to play it into the leg side, keeps a little low, turns quite sharply. Gets a massive leading edge. Or did he not? Because they're thinking, no, they're not thinking about OBW. I thought it was onto the outside. Yeah, it was off the outside edge of the bat, back towards the bowler. I think if it struck him on the pad, it was going way down the leg side anyway. But that's the danger. Oh, now that one has turned and bounced and come off the pad. No appeal for OBW. Well, it was probably going to bounce over even if it was in line. It probably wasn't in line either. Ballooned over everybody on the leg side.
No backward shot leg for that? I mean, that's the sort of...
Well, it was a kind of lip slip, but it went quite fine and quite high and quite quick, actually. They got a couple of leg buys. And at the end of that, over, 105 for 4.
Is it just me, or is Rizwan doing too much to start his innings? Maybe it's that nervous energy. Way too many movements at the crease.
Yeah, he's a bit like that.
Yeah,
Anyway,
okay.
Over to you, Forthy.
Yes. Well, there's Leah, who has got into a early German electronica groove. Talk of Ashra Temple, Amandul, says to Philip Shaw, King Crimson are cool, don't get me wrong. So there is lots of interesting stuff from that era. It's true. And a couple of messages from Messi. It's the day of prayer, Bear. Expect more after the 1 hour lunch break.
Yeah.
And he adds, India had their victory over New Zealand in the women's ODI at the Modi Dome yesterday, he adds.
Also, yes. In any case, I mean, to finish off the story I started, I reactivated my Tidal subscription, and Stone Roses, I'm listening to a lot more of that, some 80s, late 80s music. Also, some what is called as power metal, I think.
Power
Symphonic
metal.
Germanic, symphonic Germany, metal produced in Germany and Scandinavian parts. Suddenly it's all, maybe it's the time of the year for me, but yeah.
Yes, no, we're all done with tweets. Yeah, never really got on the Stone Roses bandwagon quite so much. I found them a little derivative, to be honest. But for a very short period, they were absolute top dogs before Oasis took over.
Correct. I mean, I heard a podcast about how Oasis basically has caused a detriment of English music, but that's another topic. I mean, I was just listening to somebody talk about it. So then
Yes,
I
I think
heard a
that
couple
was-
of new bands.
I think that was probably me, Ajit. I did an episode on exactly that subject. Yeah.
Not you, otherwise I would have
They
given you
are.
the
I
credit.
mean, the Oasis were massively derivative, weren't they? I mean, they even nicked Beatles. They even nicked Beatles lyrics. So, I mean, it was and referenced them all the time. It was quite sad.
Holy cow, believe it or not, that's what that guy said.
And I don't understand how that has stood the test of the time. I mean,
Apparently, it became just that synth pop evolving into something very, oh yeah, this and this and this, and very basic drums, very basic set of
Yeah.
tunes, not
terribly
I think
basic, the whole
that's it.
lot.
I think that's it, Ajit. I think that it's the same reason that Aussie pub rock and AC/DC is very, very successful over here. It's just like if you've had a long day on the building site and you don't want to relax, then you want some very basic music that you can shout along to in the car or go along and shout along with your mates and all of those things. There's nothing complicated about it.
No, nothing at all.
What I like about Stone Roses is that there is a guitar piece near the end of the song. Also, it's probably that era. If you listen to November Rain, all of these people from Guns N' Roses, Deep Purple. But anyway, it's that is usually
You Are the
completely-
Resurrection. It's a classic.
Also that.
man.
I Am the Resurrection. That's a great.
I Am the
bit.
Resurrection, sorry, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
completely, it's sort of completely against what the song says sometimes. The rhythm changes, the tune is sometimes, it's almost like it's a beginning of another song, but
Yeah.
it still fits in beautifully to what was played. In the end, they bring it together. And
Well, he
there
was
is some
the great.
thoughts. Yeah,
He
sorry.
was the great strength of the Stone Roses, the guitarist John Squires, and he was actually not a bad painter as well. If you have a look
Oh,
at
I don't know. I think Manny actually on the drums. If you
Interesting.
listen to the drums
Yeah.
on some of those tracks, they're fucking amazing.
they're good. The weak spot was
I mean-
probably the Ian Brown.
Well, yeah, he was. He's terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
We saw the
I'm
wicket.
presuming the reason we're rapping on about English music from the 90s.
It's a drinks break.
It's a drinks break, yeah.
I was wondering why though, because it was not yet the top of the hour. I know I have to change at the top of the hour, but I think we took a
Well,
drinks break
because
at
we've got the
15
extra
minutes.
half hour because it's Friday prayers.
Right?
We've got one or two tweets. Messi says, all my music needs are met by Sombrero, Fallout and Gorilla Cricket jingles. I think, just stick with Gorilla Cricket jingles, really. They're very good.
Come on.
Leah says, Leah says, Oasis were and still are quite shit. That is 100% correct. And Leah says, I get your point, 40, but that is no excuse to not listen to Sabaton in those situations.
Oh, that's just
Sabaton.
played into the leg side, palmed around the post by Rooty at short mid wicket. Couldn't quite stop it.
Wow.
And,
It was a
could have
full
single.
length dive to his credit, and he probably will feel a bit rotten, but well done him. I mean, it's about making that batter be that much more, wary. I suppose next time you're going to hit it, try to hit it straight and probably hit it to the bowler, something like this. So we are seeing Gus Atkinson, probably the commentators are also talking the same thing. He should be given a go.
An over or two, yeah, just to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's no downside for experimental over or two, surely.
I mean, I think a spell is in the offing. It's all right. There's room for that.
Certainly not 106 for 4. Round the wicket is Leach. Maybe kept a little low, was outside the off stump. Turned a
I
little
thought it
bit,
was-
Rizwan pulled out a shot.
I was about to ask you what sort of a shot is that. I thought he was going to whack it on its head, and then it turned out to be a leave, actually.
Yeah, I think he was expecting it, or hoping it would bounce a little bit higher, more into his arc. That one is out there again, and again he leaves it.
Slightly more conventional, that leave, if
Yeah.
anything. But as I said, this is the contest I'm really looking forward to longer term. But anyway, coming back to that India game, Washington Sundar is back in. They're reviewing a decision, but he scored a 152 in his first class innings. So,
Okay.
we'll see.
Defended out to short cover where Root is fielding.
And this
Someone
looks
pointed-
close. This decision
someone
that they have
pointed that.
reviewed is close.
One point out, Washington Sunder would go very well to Buffalo Soldiers if we were to ever do another jingle for Washington Sunder.
There you
Well, it's slog sweep. Has he got all of that? I think he has.
Yeah.
There's no one out there anyway. Didn't see
He's
the
got
ball.
all of it even.
Gone for 6? Yeah. Slog sweep over deep mid wicket.
first strike, real aggressive.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I told you this is going to happen, but it's all right if you're a bowler. You want a bit of this. It's okay.
Yeah, well, exactly that. You don't mind it. You got runs to play with. As you said, England are probably just ahead in the game.
And he's fully stretching out. It's not a ball that was close to him. He almost hit it air quotes on the up. So, fine.
I mean, if you brought Rizwan for 30 runs, you'd be reasonably happy, I think, at this point in the game. Leach bowls the last ball of the over. It's just defended by Rizwan, and there is no run.
He looks a bit befuddled for whatever reason, but all right. He's having a chat with his partner about the length, potentially, of that ball.
Billy's here. We'll do a change.
We are. So we can change now if you want. There's we're all up to date on tweets. Whoever's taking over.
Message is taking over.
Thank you.
Billy, good
Goodbye.
morning. He's going to take us through the next half hour.
Thanks, Ajit.
You there, Billy? Billy. Morning, Billy.
Morning,
Morning,
guys.
Billy.
How's life in Newcastle?
Did you go to bed at 4 o'clock this morning again or not?
I didn't, but unfortunately I had an absolute shocker yesterday. I'm supposed to be coming to you from Dublin, but the UK government said you didn't need a passport to fly to Dublin, but Ryanair say you do. So I was turned away, so I'm back in Newcastle.
Yeah, no, that happens. I went to a wedding in down south of Dublin the other year. My wife at the time was on a Kenyan passport, and we were told she didn't need a visa. We got to the airport and she was told she didn't need a visa, and we were only there for like 2 days, so she went home, couldn't come with us. I had to go with the kids on my own. They were quite young at the time. But the weird thing is, if you went into Belfast, you wouldn't need one, and you could just go drive across the border. It's crazy.
It's Ryanair that do it more than the government, I think. They're a pain in the ass.
Atkinson comes in to start a new over around the wicket, bowls, and it's just pushed by Rizwan out to deep points, and they'll get a single. Yeah, it's absolute nightmare. I was pretty gutted about it because I was very much looking forward to going, but oh well. Not much you can do.
No, there isn't. Presumably the Ryanair flight wasn't too much.
I don't know. I got it relatively last minute.
That's annoying. That's even more annoying.
Yeah. But no.
Considering Atkinson's taken 1 for 3 from his previous 3 overs, it's amazing that his 4th over is the 39th innings, 40th of the innings.
It is really. I mean, yeah. He just needs to try and be straight and on the stumps because of the up and down bounce. We saw yesterday he got a wicket because of that kind of particular thing. And he's in once more, and that is straight and jags in, and Rizwan gets forward and plays it back to Atkinson.
That's it. I think you have a quite leg-sidey field and bowl wicket to wicket, haven't you? And hope for the variation. I mean, that ball that got the wicket yesterday to keep a little low.
Yeah, the pitch seems to have been a bit calmer this morning.
Well, it would have been rolled, wouldn't it? First thing this morning. So hopefully the roller starts wearing off. What, around about now? An hour and a half in.
Yeah, let's see what Atkinson can do with his next one as he comes in over the wicket. That's slightly wider and really nice late cut by Mohammad Rizwan, which will race away for 4, and he moves to 12.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
Nice little shot. Can't be offline here. It's got to be straight, as you say. Not a lot of room for error.
No, also when you don't really get the feel like it's a reverse swing kind of a pitch either.
No, well, they designed it that way, didn't they? They left the outfield lush and they cut no squares on the central square so as to help rough up the ball.
Atkinson in once more. That's jagged back, and Rizwan plays it nicely out to point for no run.
Apparently that was one of the tactics. Make sure that the outfield is lush and don't cut the square, so it doesn't give the ball a chance to rough up.
Yeah, well, of course they've only got Amar Jamal.
Yeah, who didn't bowl an over.
Didn't bowl at all. It must be quite difficult, pace bowlers in the subcontinent when this kind of thing happens. Atkinson again. That's short, and Rizwan cuts but missed times. and Ryan Ahmed feels that in the short mid-wicket area. Have you guys been keeping tabs on New Zealand India?
Well, yeah,
indeed. 107 for 7 at lunch.
They're really fucking up that home series, aren't they? It's mad.
Well, yeah. I mean, and it's only a 3-match series as well. So if New Zealand win, that'll be the first time since
England, I think.
England in 2011, 2012?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Atkinson in to finish the over, and once more it drags back nicely, but this one plays it down the ground. Yeah, it does seem to be doing a little bit off the seam in that over. Atkinson 1 for 7, Pakistan 117 for 4 at the end of the 40th. Messes.
Leah says, morning, Billy. Baroness Hattie says, I'm off to see Culture Club in December, the music of my youth before I graduated to heavy metal. Now a head-banging hat. Leah suggests you should look into Star One of her favourite metal bands. And Mayank says, how can Ryanair have a separate policy for the UK government? You can't supersede the actual law. But I discovered with my stepson some years ago, they required the passport as an identity check, but they were really sort of covering themselves as well. So he couldn't claim his ticket without the passport. It was a pain in the ass.
So I thought they'd accept a driving licence, but no dice.
Yeah, and Leah says, yeah, you can write the passport thing into the terms of service as long as you don't discriminate. Yeah, Ryanair, a pain in the ass. I wouldn't fly in them if I could possibly avoid it.
Well, Leach in again to Sajid around the wicket, and that turns a little bit. Sajid plays it down with soft hands for no run. What do you guys think would be... Do you think England were a bit short on runs yesterday, or do you think...
I think they'd
150...
No, I don't think they were that short.
Leach, second ball of the overs, and once more slightly wider delivery, and Sajid plays it down into the ground once more for no run.
I think if they could have got to 300 just over, they'd have been very happy. Maybe 15 runs short of what is par.
I mean, I think one of those as well, if you look at the position they were in, then they're relatively happy. And sweep, hard sweep by Sajid, uppish, but that is a good solid sweep, and it will go for 4, evading the chasing Ryan Ahmed, and he moves to 40.
The person who I was impressed by most, apart from Jamie Smith in the first innings, was Gus Atkinson. I thought he made the best of the circumstances really well, and showed that you can risk your luck a bit and use your feet to get some runs on this wicket. Leaching
once more, reverse sweep by Sajid. Not a hard reverse sweep, but it's just almost a guided one down to that man Atkinson. And that's I'd agree. I think he bowled nicely. For what he did bowl, and as you say,
sorry, I meant his batting.
Oh, batting.
Yeah, well, if you read the paper reports I read the paper reports yesterday, and what they were saying is after lunch they just changed their approach to go straight. The sweep shot was dangerous because of the inconsistent bounce and the pace of the wicket. So there's a mindset to change and try and hit straight into the V. Is where you're going to get your runs.
Leach is in once more. That's a better delivery, and Brisbane crosses forward. It's no run. Yeah, I heard that partnership between Smith and Atkinson had only one sweep shot in it. So a definite pride. It'll be interesting to see what England do there for in the second innings. That's flatter from Jack Leach, more back of a length, and Rizwan gets on the back foot and cards it out to cover for a single. To end the 41st, Pakistan move on to 123.
Cal Herbert says, "Come on, New Zealand! Strong spin on the pitch brings New Zealand spinners into play. Let's beat the evil empire." Leah says, "I remember a guy I knew flying Ryanair into Oslo North, which was closer to Bergen than to Oslo. They then charged over $300 for a bus to Oslo, but hey, the flight was cheap. Yeah, getting around anywhere in Norway is incredibly expensive. Well, that's my recollection from many years ago. Ryanair, it's cheap until you actually have to pay for
everything.
For baggage and everything.
Do you have to pay to go to the toilet yet?
They were thinking of bringing that in, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be just only the one over from Rayan Ahmed so far. Would you guys like to see a bit more of him?
I think he'll get his chance. I think there's enough in it for the stand, for your Leach and you got one turning it either way then as well.
Atkinson continues, and that shapes in nicely, but it's flicked by Rizwan to Rayan Ahmed. That's kind of short mid wicket for no run.
I mean, his one over was okay last night.
Yeah, my main criticism of Rayan Ahmed is that, I just don't think his standard leg spinner is really quite good enough.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
He bowls a lot of googly, but I really think, in order for the googly to be effective, your standard leg spinner needs to be
good,
right up there.
Yeah, he doesn't get a lot of sideways movement either as well. He gets a lot of top spin, bowls quite flat, which is great in a white ball game, but not so good in a test match, I don't think.
Atkinson bowls. It's a really nice shot by Mohammad Rizwan. He seems to have timed it nicely through mid-wicket. He's just holding up though, and Rayan Ahmed will chase it well to the boundary. They might have got 3
Yeah, I think they did.
I think they did, yeah. Really good running from Pakistan. Running to kind of a constant
not
theme
something
when
you
talk
often
about
hear.
them. No, exactly. Atkinson's just seeing most deliveries. He's just trying to shape in to Mohammad Rizwan. Do you think he might try and get one to go away, or this is a tactic?
I think it's kind of a tactic. I think they want to bowl at the stumps, as we were saying earlier, because of the inconsistent bounce. Yeah, I mean, if one of them does squat, it can cause all sorts of trouble.
Oh, just seen that is Mohammad Rizwan's 2000th test run, averaging 42. Good, excitable cricketer, Mohammad Rizwan. Great character. Atkinson this time around the wicket, and Sajid Keel drives to Crawley at cover for no run.
I mean, the thing is, this is the kind
he's
of
lifted his appeal game, I reckon. He's on a par with Dick Flower.
I mean, this is the kind of pitch where it looks kind of soporific a lot of the time, and then something crazy happens. You've got to sit in the game and wait for that inconsistency that causes the breakthrough. And these next 2 wickets, I think, are crucial to get.
Atkinson bowls. That is straight on the stumps, but defended nicely by Sajid Keel, who just holds the pose, holds the bat back at Atkinson, as if to say, you're not getting through there. He's on 41. He's batted really nicely. This partnership 27 off 38. The kind of game where you feel like, a partnership of 30 is pretty good, and that's what most people will be aiming for. Some useful runs.
Well, England getting those first 3 wickets early yesterday, or reasonably cheap, was a blessing.
Atkinson a bit wider on the crease this time, and Sajid Keel blocks it into the offside. Crawley throws it hard into Jamie Smith, and there's no run.
Worth mentioning that the GPL is open, and it will actually close on the stroke of lunch today, because we've got an extra half hour before lunch.
That's true.
And it's currently at 81 quid. And it's very likely that we'll get the full 90 overs today, maybe a couple more.
Well, Messers, I'm actually not sure it is.
Quid.
I'm actually not sure it is likely, because it gets really dark early here. Atkinson round the wicket, and that's flicked nicely down to backward point, races round, and Jack Leach with foot. Yeah, because yesterday it got dark at kind of 5 o'clock their time or something, I think.
Well, sunset was
5:23
yesterday, but obviously it gets darker before it actually reaches sunset.
Yeah,
it's certainly too dark.
So it is
to play.
possible that we won't be able to do the full 6 hours even today. That's
I mean, because you've got the extra 20 minutes at lunch, and they still have tea, so you're taking 20 minutes out of the game at the end of the day, basically. I reckon. I don't think you get much out of the extra half hour. It was virtually dark when he finished yesterday.
Yeah. Although we have already had 19 overs so far today, which is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, certainly with the spinners on, you're going to get close.
Yeah, that is very, very true. Pakistan, these two will just try and keep batting, and they'll try and get some kind of a lead. Obviously, the first thing is to get past England, to get up to England's score, and then try and get past. And a bowling change here. It looks like Shoaib Bashir is going to come on and bowl. I don't know if we'll drink him up for the...
Oh, we'll give him a go, why not? Here we go.
Likes to attack. Now in an England cap.
He's coming around the wicket to Sajka. Solly's over. That's tossed up. It was on leg stump. And it's calmly played. That's a square leg for a single. No, well, that's one of the things with Shoaib Bashir is just the inconsistency that you don't really get with Jack Leach necessarily. But he does vary his pace more, which I'd argue is a very important benefit to his bowling as well as his height.
Yeah, and as the series gone on, he's... I think both of us were really annoyed in the first test. He was bowling too straight and a lot of the time bowling too short. I think as the series has worn on, he's got his lengths better and his pace is better. He's certainly slowed down, which is probably a better thing to do over here. And
Yeah,
pushed it a
allow
bit,
it to,
pushed it a bit
allow
further
the
up.
pitch to turn.
Yeah,
By flighting it a bit more. Now this is interesting. So he's going over the wicket here to the right-hander. Usually we see quite often bowlers go around to bring that LBW into play. Let's see what he can do here. Bowls and hits on the back foot, and it's just placed into the leg side. For a single, Mohammad Rizwan. They haven't necessarily scored very quickly in these 19 overs. Only the 56 runs so far, going at just under 3 and over. So they're evidently, not too worried about the time left in the game, which of course there's no reason to be.
no,
Because you'd think it will not be a draw.
no.
Bashir once more around the wicket. Bowls and the sweep comes out. It's not timed very well, and they will get a single here. Pakistan low, they'll race back for 2. Good running. They might even get 3. There was no deep square leg. Ran Ahmed does well. No, they'll stick to 2.
Terrible throw.
As well to get around.
Yeah.
Looks like buzzers, and Ren Ahmed's got his head in his hands. It was way wide of trying to throw it to the bowler's end, but it was way wide of Bashir, and he won't be particularly pleased. That'll hurt his economy.
Yeah, and he couldn't. Yeah, when he tapped it, then he tapped it past the backup fielder as well, which allowed him to get through for a single. 3 singles off the first 3 deliveries of Bashir's over. He's taken 2 for 54 so far. Let's see what he can do to Mohammad Rizwan, who's on 17 and stands. Bowls that one does turn a little bit, and Mohammad Rizwan gets on the back foot and plays it into the leg side. I'm interested. Rizwan seems to be playing quite a few deliveries on the back foot. We saw yesterday that that's what got England into trouble with the inconsistent bounce. But Bashir comes into the penultimate ball there, but that's a bit wider and does turn once more. But Rizwan plays it nicely under his eye into the covers for a single. Yeah, this is a good battle. Rizwan coming out, and Saud's upped his game since Rizwan's come out as well, scoring a little bit quicker. And Rizwan is looking to at least keep the scoreboard moving.
I think he's the kind of batsman that's quite enjoyable for to bat with in partnership, because you know that he's gonna score and he's gonna be exciting.
Yes.
Just pushed. The last ball of Shoaib Bashir's just been pushed there into the covers for no run. Pakistan 133 for 4. That ends the 43rd over. Messes anyone on social.
Indeed. Ben McCormick's with us, says, morning all, hope you're all well. Unlike me, who's still in bed with a perpetual cold. Sorry to hear that, Ben. Can England snaffle a couple more wickets, or is the staunch Pakistani middle order going to take the game away? Leah sends us a link to a song about flying Ryanair by the Lord Weird Slough Fig called Frankfurt Han Airport Blues. I can imagine.
Yeah.
And she says to you, Billy, is that a German Whitbier glass you're drinking from? She also says, oh, bloody hell. YouTube just keeps crashing, but at least it comes back quickly. Mike says, can someone please explain to me how Western Australia went from 52 to 53 all out at the whacker? Yes, there was a while. Otherwise, it would have been 52 all out. I got no idea, didn't watch it. The wicket was playing a lot of tricks in the last day of the Shield match on Sunday, I think it was. But I had no idea.
I'll have to look it up. Atkinson starts a new over, and that's a nice delivery on the stumps, and Rizwan blocks it.
Is
offside.
Is that the original whacker?
Yes.
And that was proper West Australian in Shield?
Yep.
Is it like a test event? Is it the first time they've used it?
No, it's been used quite a bit
Okay.
over the... I went to a one-day match there a couple of weeks ago. There's been a couple of Shield matches there.
So just
it's
a bad
been in
pitch.
constant use. There's a WVBL match there on Sunday, which I'll go to if this game's over by then.
Axton bowls and chopped by Mohammed Rizwan off the inside edge and must have bounced before the stumps and Crawley, it looks like. I think that's at Crawley Fields.
Yeah.
For no run. We'll have to get a replay of that. He got in a slightly awkward position, Mohammed Rizwan. It was well bowled by Gus Atkinson on the stumps.
Well, I mean, that's a danger for him, isn't it? If one does misbehave, because he doesn't really use his feet. Like a lot of modern batsmen these days, it's all hand-eye.
Yeah, I mean, Harry Brook doesn't really seem to use his feet at all.
Well, he uses his feet up straight on a straight line, but not across.
Yeah, true. Atkinson in once more, and that's no run, just blocked by Mohammed Rizwan. Yeah, if he's coming down the pitch, he will, but in general, he just relies on hand-eye coordination, as you say.
So many do now, though. It's such a change, isn't it? I mean, it does allow for quicker scoring, I suppose. I mean, KP was the first. The modern era, really, to do that.
What could have been?
Well,
did you enjoy watching KP bat?
Oh yeah, he was a bit of a twat, but I mean, he was a very good batsman.
Bowls and Rizwan does use his feet here, drives down the ground. This is a fantastic shot. Straight, who's chasing it? Ben Duckett's chasing it as he dives and slides and throws it in. It's a better throw than the one of Ren Ahmed, and Atkinson collects it on the bounce. And they'll get a couple. Really nice shot there from Mohammed Rizwan, who moved his feet, kind of came down the wicket and just pushed it for a couple.
Yeah, really nicely timed. Yeah, right in the middle of the bat. Certainly being proactive, isn't he, Rizwan?
Yeah, he is being proactive. 20 off 31. You feel like he is just feeling like he might accelerate. Ren Ahmed, we saw, is warming up, so I wonder if he'll get stuck into him. That's leg side-ish delivery by Atkinson, and Rizwan just flicks it into the leg side for no run. What do you think England's bowling plan here is? They've got a kind of a three fielders close in on the leg side as Atkinson bowling on leg stump to try and see if Rizwan will spoon them a catch.
Yeah, I think they actually wanted to bowl sort of middle and off on the stumps, so it doesn't open up the leg side so much, but as per usual, bowlers overcompensate a little bit. And it wouldn't free up the leg side if you could get, well, actually modern day batsmen.
Well, he's in for the last ball of the over here. That's straight, and Rizwan once again defends nicely with a square bat and holds the pose once more. End of the 44th over, Pakistan 135 for 4.
The Grand Duchess Hattie says the Grand Duchess of Dark has realised it will be very dark on Sunday as the clocks go back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, well, not necessarily hopefully, but if this game is over in 3 days, it will save people in Sydenham having to be there
at 5 o'clock.
An hour earlier.
Yeah. Get up at 4 in the morning, Jesus.
You weren't going to be there on Sunday anyhow, were you?
I'm not here on Sunday, that's true. That's my day off, thankfully. But I'm sure I'll need to be up anyway, because Tone will be on the blower at whatever
And
time.
our own Cat tweeted a little while ago, in the pre-match chat yesterday, I predicted we'd see 15 wickets on day one, and I came very close.
You did? Only one so far today. But England, they're still quite a way behind, just over halfway there. Pakistan.
Well, Bashir is in once more around the wicket to Sad Shakil, and that's a nice delivery, slightly on the full side and just defended into the offside. Yeah, so Ren Ahmed was warming up, and I don't know, I reckon he might be trying to replace Gus Atkinson after this serve Bashir over, which I think would be a good move to give these two something different to look at. Bashir bowls, that's tossed up and blocks Sad Shakil into the offside, because they've looked pretty comfortable, you have to say.
Yeah, they have. But I thought, when Sharma Sood was out, he looked quite comfortable, and then suddenly one ripped. I mean, that's the thing. I think you've got to sit in and wait for the.
Well, this next delivery is swept really hard by Sad Shakil, and it will go for 4, and that brings his 50 up of 92 deliveries. It was leg side by Bashir, beautifully timed swept. for one of these.
Really good shot. 1, 2, 3, 4. And
50, 50, 50. Pretty nifty on a bowler's pitch.
Yeah, really nice sweep. Got into a good position. It was swept in front of square, really, and very hard in this outfield. It'll race away. So he raised his bat calmly to the dressing room as if he knows he's got more of a job to do.
Indeed.
yeah, well, his test average is 52. He's always batted well against England without ever getting a ton. So that may be ominous. Maybe he'll get one today. That'd be horrible.
Well, 67 on his back, Bashir bowls, and that's cut for a single. As Pakistan move on to 140, just trailing by 127 now. England, they won't be getting desperate for wickets. I don't think this England team do necessarily get desperate, but
No.
I certainly want something to happen soon.
Aye.
2 deliveries left of Shoaib Bashir's over. I think we might be seeing Rayan Ahmed bowling
Or
from the
Stokes.
other end.
Or Stokes or Root.
Could be Stokes, could be Root with a flatter approach. Bashir, and once more, that's, well, it's a bit of an extra height to that delivery from a release point of view, and Sajid cards it, Rizwan cards it into the offside for a single. 1 ball left to go in the over. That one did seem to just turn a bit, but Bashir does seem to get a little bit of spin, but it's more slow turn. It's not threatening, you wouldn't necessarily say. And once more, that's down the leg side and just flicked into the leg side by Sajid, where he'll get a single to complete the over. 142 for 4. Pakistan for 45 overs.
West Aussie Lee says David Warner putting his hand up to solve the Aussies' opening blues. So the question must be asked: is Stuart Broad available for a comeback? Yeah, David Warner was just fucking blowing his own trumpet to bring attention to the fact that he's going to be commentating for Foxtel this summer, I think. But in other news, David Warner's lifetime captaincy ban has been lifted by Cricket Australia after a review, which basically is an indication of their realisation that they overreacted originally.
Massively.
Yeah. PJ Mead says, do you find it odd that the nation that brought us Waqar, Wasim and Shoaib Akhtar, the Rawalpindi Express, is now leaving their ground as flush as possible in order to prevent reverse swing? Is there a white ball series after the test? No, they're going to Australia. There's an ODI starting 10 days from now in Australia against Australia for Pakistan.
Atkinson does continue actually, and comes on Sajid from around the wicket, and there's nearly a mix up there in Pakistan, but they will not get a run. Yeah, well, England of course going to West Indies.
So much
in,
cricket
what
these
would that
days.
be?
Yeah, well,
seven is, you know, that's in about a week, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. It's mad. Schedule at this end of the year is crazily packed, and then straight after, I mean, we're playing 6 tests and 8 white ball games from 7th of October to the 22nd, I think it is, of December. It's mad.
Extraordinary. Atkinson will bowl to Sajid again. This is slightly wide on the crease, and it's carved out by Sajid. It's deep point. Jack Leach throws it in that sun hat of his. He'll get a single.
I wonder if you bang one into the middle of the pitch, it just scoots along the ground.
Yeah, you could try that. I mean, I would say maybe bowl a couple of short deliveries, but that does take a lot of effort.
Yeah.
So Atkinson's bowl. If Bryden Cast was selected, he might give that a go. You would think, but no, bowling. He's bowled nicely, Gus Atkinson. You can't say he hasn't been trying. 1 for 14 as he bowls once more, and that's on kind of leg stump line, and Brisbane blocks it for no run.
Yeah, Rizwan looking good out here, has to be said.
Chuntering away to Sajid and probably himself as usual. 3 balls left of this over. 143 for 4 Pakistan, now trailed by 124, and maybe a bit of a field change going on. Just a discussion with Atkinson at the top of his mark as he bowls, and that is a little bit shorter, and it's blocked by Rizwan for no run.
He is bowling well here, Atkinson's going for less than 2, well, just around 2 and over.
You just watch him run in, and he just seems to have such nice rhythm through the crease.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned before, it genuinely does slightly remind me of Jofra Archer. Not the pace, but the actual front-on action and the rhythm to it.
Yeah, it's small steps, isn't it? He doesn't sprint in.
Those roots.
Lee is asking whether White Line Wireless is going to be covering the Border Gavaskar series. I think it's most unlikely. Leo tend to do away series.
Atkinson bowls, and that's driven by Rizwan for no run. Continue messes.
Because within Australia, there are usually 3 radio stations and 2 TV channels that already cover it. So it's not as if there's not plenty of options available. And it's a lot of work, and people are on holidays at that time of year, or at the cricket themselves. That's the hardest thing. So I think it's very unlikely.
Well, Atkinson will come in now to complete the 7th over. He bowls and Rizwan defends. It was another leg side-ish delivery, angled in on the pads. And Pakistan are 143 for 4 messes.
I think we're due a change, are we not?
I think we are. Right,
Yeah.
4th is due back. Jason is Jason here? And Will is due to come on.
Okay, I'll just do one more message from Ben McCormack, who says, going to go out on a limb and say that Pakistan middle order seems more likely to take the game away than England look like taking any wickets. Oh, that's an attempt to take a wicket. And Stephen Kelk says, good morning, world. And Leah says, too bad, but very understandable about White Line Wireless. Okay, I'll catch you in half an hour.
Well, thank you very much, Messi and Bear. And I believe you're staying on, Will. Is that right? Oh, no, he's disappeared. Jason, I've got. Hello, Jason.
Good morning.
Oh, that is. Hello, Will. There you are. There you are. Hello, gentlemen. Good morning to you. It's probably quite early for you still. It's fine for me. How are you? How are you, Will? To start with.
I'm good. Yeah. Sort of weirdly bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, considering it's 7:30.
Bashir in again, round the wickets to Sad Shakil, defends it. They make a bit of a meal of scooping that one up and chase it almost halfway to the boundary, but there's no run. How are you, Jason?
I'm good. He just picked it up and then drop-kicked it onto his boot, basically.
Yes. Then there was probably a couple of runs in it, but they decided against it. Okay, round the wicket comes Bashir, and that's nice big forward defensive. Gets up a little bit, defends it probably off his glove in the end. Yes, there's only been 1 wicket for England in the first hour. It was said to be a crucial first session. If so, I'm not sure it was particularly crucial first session any more than any other. Pakistan are winning it. Big forward defensive again from Saud.
We'll keep getting shown pictures of Rayan Ahmed sort of warming up, giving a hint to Ben Stokes saying, come on, Skip, give me a go, give me a go.
He's been doing that since yesterday evening. He only had one over so far. And that was the last over of last night. Another big forward defensive dot ball from Saud to Bashir.
Yeah, he's this test Zayn Mahmood.
Bashir in again. And that's play that for a single on the offside just to break the monotony. As someone said about Zafir yesterday, as the club cricketer in me assumes that he's the one with the car. Maybe the same could be said to say about
Yeah,
Rayan
I saw
Ahmed.
that. I did chuckle at that. Yeah, he's the bloke you picked so that he can give people a lift.
Exactly. Or he's the guy who runs the team and does all the teas, does all the rosters, organises all the fixtures. He's actually pretty hopeless, but you've got to put him in. And that one's just played round the corner to the man at short square leg. At the end of the 47th over, Pakistan 1-4-4-4-4.
Billy McCormack says, going to go out on a limb and say this Pakistan middle order is more likely to take the game away than the England one. England don't look like taking many wickets. Stephen Cope says, good morning, world.
Morning.
Morning.
And Leia says, oh, hi. Will you please check your Discord messages? Have you had that message already?
Well, if I can remember how to get onto Discord, I will. So, it turns out that me and Leah were trying to talk to each other, but we're on completely different platforms. But we'll find a way, don't worry.
Yeah, I'm on the same thing. My Discord has completely bust, and I can't get into it. And I've been trying to get into it for about 2 weeks or something. And
okay. Well, this is exciting. This is we're going to jingle him up now.
We will. It's this guy.
Is a mission from the original squad was to guard rearmament from dubious jingles.
Yes, it's Ray and Ahmed. Sorry, I had to close the door there because my dog had just got back from a walk and was barking quite loudly. Round the wicket comes Ray and Ahmed. That classical delivery at the back of his hand. And Sawad Shakil Smobbers. Dot ball. What do we think? Is he the man for the occasion, do we think, Ahmed?
I mean, I think it's worth giving him a go, because like you said, he's only had the one over last night.
He might be quite useful as that's played round the corner to square leg where there's a run from Sawad. As much as he shoots it through a little faster than Bashir and Leach, which might actually not be the worst thing on a slow pitch like this.
And he's also got decent googlies, which turns quite a lot, so it'll be a handful certainly for the left-hander, Soward.
Yeah.
And it will probably keep low as well.
I'm slightly surprised they've been keeping him back till he's only had one over out of the first 48, but maybe they know what they're doing.
I think it's all about kind of keeping the batsmen thinking and not letting them settle into a kind of routine and all of that sort of thing. So switching up as much as you can is really good.
It's going to be Rizwan on strike, and Rayan Ahmed's going to come over the wickets to him. Another classical forward defensive from Rizwan, who's he's 21 off 40. You suddenly get the impression that he's been gingering things up, but his strike rate wouldn't indicate that. Maybe it's just his sort of intent at the crease as much as anything else. You can have good intent with your defensive shots, and I would say Rizwan has that.
He's a very busy cricketer, isn't he? He just looks like he's wants to do stuff every ball, even if nothing actually happens.
Yes. And he rucks back onto the back foot, gets it wide of the man at Gully. They hurry through for a single. He moves on to 22. Rayan Ahmed is just having a look at his average speed, which is 6 kilometres an hour faster than his opposite number, the third spinner, Zahid, in the Pakistan.
They are very different spinners, though.
Very different. It's a strange comparison, actually. I wouldn't have sort of picked those two out. And Soward hurries through again for a single, which he just pushed out on the offside. The score moves on to 147 for 4 at the end of the 48th over. Is anything happening out there, Jason?
Yep. Stephen Cope says, join the party late. Has Duckett bowled yet? No, we haven't got around to using our ninth change.
A trump card.
Yeah, Leah says, inexplicably not, in response to that. And Messenger says, I'll send you Discord invites to Will and Forthy, so you can sort out and talk to each other and talk to everybody else who wants to talk to you.
Okay.
Thanks, Messi.
Very much. I think actually I did sign up for that once, but I forgot about it.
And there's another admin message for Will from Leia, which I will convey after.
Bashir in again. So just opens up the face of his bat, hoping to push it into the gap, and there is one at point, but just gets it not quite as square as he hoped. There is no single. Pakistan only trailing by 120 now, so you would probably say their nose is very slightly in front. And that's cuts too short from Bashir, and that's cut down to the man on the fence, who's Atkinson. They come through for the single. Soward ticks over to 57. They're both pottering along at 3 and over. The thing is, when you play England, you don't have to play baseball because they'll do the striking rate for you. You can score whatever pace you want, really.
Yes, you can eat up the time they pump into the game.
Exactly, yes. And that's slightly dragged down by Bashir. Although it was, reasonably full in the end. But anyway, played off the back foot by Soward down to long on for the single. Yeah. That's the 50 partnership.
It just does
They've played pretty well, these two, haven't they? Will, Rizwan and Soward.
Yeah.
Just the ship when it was looking...
I think they've like you say about eating up the time, I think they've got a pitch that's sort of going to do that as well. And
Bashir,
I think
just tosses that one up a little further. Doesn't bother Soward. Dot ball.
And I think there's an element of the pitch
played off the back foot defensively. Dot ball.
But these two have been sort of really sort of stabilising, which is great. And
for the last ball of the over, a little bit more loop on that one, but played down to the man at point. It's probably Crawley. I think they come through for the single. Anyway, 149 for 4 at the end of the 49th over. And that is a drinks break, is it? Why do we need a drinks break now? Apparently we do.
It's a long Friday session, isn't it? It's 2.5 hours rather than just 2 hours.
To accommodate Friday prayers, I believe so.
Yes,
Stephen Kelk says, fourthly, he's pretending he's not active on Discord to hide the fact that he is the porn bot. I don't think so.
I think not, Stephen.
I'm not sure he's got quite the smutty mind for that.
This was Agatha Christie. I'm not sure. There's a question of the one you least expect, but I'm below the one you least expect.
Yeah, the flicker finger is not pointing at you.
I don't think so. Are you a Discord guy, Will? You said
I really don't. I don't get Discord at all. And
what is the point that the other platforms don't have?
I don't USP
really know.
Yes.
I don't sort of. It just confuses me. And then
is it just a nicer version of Twitter that doesn't involve Elon Musk? Is that the idea?
I don't know. I think it's more like it seems to be more like Zoom but with writing.
Right. Okay. That's
I
not
think.
bad. They say with Hollywood you have to condense your film on your proposition to one short sentence. Yeah. So the Lion King was Hamlet in the jungle. And they say, yeah, got it. Okay, we'll sign off on that. That sounds good.
That's the advertiser in you coming out, Faulty. You're very good at all of that sort of thing.
Well, I've made a career out of it. Whether I was any good at it or not, I'll leave that for my colleagues and clients to comment on. But I did sort of hang around in the corridors for a while.
Yeah, I wish I had that sort of brevity and to the pointedness.
Well, if there's one thing that's what our job taught you, it was to smash a concept down to the smallest particle, and for it to still make sense, I suppose. Whether that's a trick or a thing you can take into the rest of your life, I don't know, but I suppose that's what we got good at.
So were you the Donald Draper or the Roger Sterling?
I didn't used to, a bit like people, I didn't used to watch Mad Men because I wanted to relax in
a bit too close to home, perhaps?
Too close to home, exactly, yeah. Like, I don't know what you guys' jobs are, but if there was a full series every night on whatever you do, maybe you wouldn't watch it because it's with a bit of a break in the evenings.
Yeah. It would be a bit much, I think.
I think so. Well, Pakistan trailing by 118. Are there any tricks up the sleeve that maybe England could try at this stage, do we think? What do you think, Will?
I'm just trying to think about it. What would I do?
I know what I would do. Go on, Will.
Yeah, what would you do, Jace? Go.
I'm fairly sure that fairly shortly we'll see the introduction of Ben Stokes for a spell. If nothing's happening, he tends to go to himself.
Short pitch barrage?
Yeah.
Maybe not short pitch.
I was going to say Stokes will bring himself on because that's what he does almost while he's thinking. I think that's his sort of his thinking move, which
his
I
default
completely
activity.
understand.
His placeholder activity. I'll bring myself on while we try and work this one out. And meanwhile, in comes Rayan Ahmed, who is a change from the norm. Starts his third over. Short, squat fellow. Very well built. He probably is about 5'9" or something, but
yes, powerfully built, I think.
Powerfully built. And that swept from outside off stump through to deep square leg, where it's cut off by the sweeper out there, Zach Crawley. They'll come back for 2, I think. What's I going to say? Can't remember. Sorry. Anyway, so
Stokes using himself as a placeholder.
Maybe that was it. Yes. Placeholders. I suppose Joe Root would be the other option.
Yeah.
Not the worst one. He certainly turns the ball quite sharply on occasions.
Yep. And again, that's swept, but it's right smack on the leg in front of the stumps. It's been given by the on-field umpire, and I would imagine he was quite a little way down the wicket. He put his foot quite a long way down, and anything can happen. But it did look out. What did you think, Will?
He's reviewed it, but I don't think it's going over the top.
Yeah, I think he's got to review it, but I do also think that is sort of very much out.
Yes, I hope so. I mean, of course he's going to review it because they got 2 reviews remaining, and he's one of the 2 or 3 front line batsmen left. I mean, it's almost like a reflex, but nonetheless, I think that this does look a bit on the outside.
Top spinner. That's why it didn't get up. It's gone underneath the bat. That's hit him on the back pad. That looks pretty dead. I have to say.
Yes, I hadn't spotted it hit him on the back pad. The fact it's hit him on the back pad, which adds another 1.5 yards or less that the ball has got to travel, is very bad news for the batsman, I would think. I mean, I can't see how that's surely out. That's going to hit middle halfway up.
You'd think so.
Let's have a look. We've been surprised before. Yeah, middle and up.
Not even halfway up.
Low halfway up, it hits middle and off. That's how low it was. And Rayan Ahmed has done the job. He's now 1 for 6 halfway through his third over. Pakistan 151 for 5. Mohammed Rizwan has to go for 25 off 46. That's very good news for England. And once again, I would say the scales of maybe just, this is a bit... sorry.
No, I was...
Very good. Sorry, Will, go.
I was just going to say, I think... Do you think this is going to swing it back into England's favour a bit, or do you, like me, think that the Pakistan sort of middle to late-ish order has a little bit more in it?
Well, I'd say it was 55-45 to pay it to Pakistan before that, and now it's probably switched 55-45 to England. But a bit like the US presidential election, it's probably too tight to call still.
I think we need to get through Salman Ali Agha first before we can say we're doing well. England are doing well because he's a man in form. He can take the score quickly. And in fact, whilst we're talking about him, let's play a jingle. Salman Ali Agha. That's that one.
Wouldn't it be nice if Aga Salmon could be given just a game or two, and after having spent the match together, felt at home with the whole national crew? Oh, wouldn't it be nice?
Salman Ali Agar, who's probably been more informed than anybody else in the last couple of matches, it seems to, would you say, it seems to be coming in ludicrously low at
Yes.
And anyway, defends his first ball down to mid-on. Dot. Yeah, again, is the sweep the correct solution on this pitch? Oh my goodness, that shot back, and crikey, that he did extremely well, Salman, to get his plunk his bat down on that one. Not even sure how he did.
That's that googly I was warning you about. That just scuttles in, and he bowls quite a lot of overspin, so it keeps quite low as well.
Even the umpire gave a little gasp there. And that one's tossed up a little further by Rehan. Squeezed out the point, no run. And a very satisfactory over for England. At the end of the 50th over, Pakistan 1-5, 1-5.
On YouTube, Messages says, Discord is really just a more sophisticated bulletin board, if you can remember those.
Yeah, I can, yeah.
And you have mail, Will, from Leia.
It's nice.
Apparently.
I was going to say, if you want to get me, email is a really sort of is the most kind of easy way of doing it.
Yeah. Funny that email is that's nice that you still use email. I was talking to my son Scott the other day, and he said, I don't really use email for anything.
Has anyone seen the advert on some social media with Bill Gates, where he says, I'll mail you, and the interviewee says, no one uses mail anymore?
Yeah, it's true as well. Jack Leach has come back into the attack. Perhaps against the right-handed Salman, but he'd be bowling to Saud Shakil first up.
Yeah. I reckon they'll try and give him a single and then get Salman on.
I think that would be the hope here. No single there. Big forward defensive. Smobbered by Saud Shakil. Jack, let's see what Will thinks. I think Jack Leach has bowled okay without looking particularly threatening this morning. Probably a bit of a 6 or 7 out of 10 performance from him. Maybe one would have hoped for a little more from him on this pitch. And that's reverse swept by Saud Shakil. Now come through for a single. As Atkinson does the pick.
I think that's the thing with Jack, though, is that you get a 6 or 7 out of 10 pretty much.
Yeah, that's his sort of base level.
Always.
Yes. Unless Rishabh Pant is batting, in which case he's down to 2.
He's very consistent. Well, if I'm on with Eddie, Messi and Bear, he's 8.5 as far as they're concerned. They're huge Leach fans. But
I love him, but I really try and temper my huge bias towards him, because
he's your guy, isn't he? Of course, forward defensive.
Well, and also like we kind of like not quite grew up together, but like knew each other quite well in teenage years, and so
is that right? It's nice forward defensive. Well, I hope I didn't wish any calumny on Jack Leach. Everyone agrees he's great.
That's the thing. I'm so aware that I would just kind of, my instinct is to kind of go, he's a genius, because I remember when we were kind of
growing up together.
Teenagers.
Meanwhile, to interrupt Will, there's an appeal, but Salman was so far down the pitch that no umpire is going to give that, and I don't think England will review it. I'm not suggesting you reveal any scurrilous stories about Jack, because I'm pretty sure there won't be any. And that's...
There aren't any.
Yeah, exactly. That one drops a little shorter. And just cuts, but no run. A cruise at the end of the 51st over. Pakistan 5-2 for 5, Jace.
And let's just see. Message says, bloody Messi and Bear. Noted, 4-3. Your number's been called, I think.
Fair enough.
And Leah says, anyone remember that failed Tom Hanks Meg Ryan attempt to recapture the Sleepless in Seattle magic called You've Got Mail? Oh yes, I have.
I do remember You've Got Mail, yes.
Or is that whole rom-com thing a female thing? No, some of them are iconic movies of their time.
There are. Probably the best rom-com is When Harry Met Sally, for one technical reason, which I'll go on to after.
Well, it's got a good director that knows how to do rom-coms. That helps.
I tell you what's great about When Harry Met Sally. In comes Ray and Ahmed, ran the wickets, defended, dot ball. Is that in nearly every sitcom, it's barriers, they get together at the end, and you never see their relationship. The thing about Harry and Sally is you see their relationship all the way through the film, because it's a will they won't they film. So that's why it's such a great film, because you see their bickering and their ups and their downs, whereas it's all barriers in a typical rom-com. And that's played to mid-wickets by Soward of Rayhan. And they come through for a single.
Do you know, I really like What If, which had Daniel Radcliffe in it from about, 15 years ago. Because they don't get together in the end.
Okay. Oh, the classic one where they don't get together is 500 Days of... What's the day of the week?
500 Days of Summer.
500 Days of Summer, that's right. It's not a day of the week, it's the season, isn't it? It's a good film, but they don't get together in the end. Swept round the corner by Salman. Spoiler alert, sorry, a bit late for a spoiler alert when I've just said what happens. He's off the mark, 1 off 8. Steady start from him.
But then it was really annoying because about 6 months later they filmed an extra 10-15 minutes for the American audience where they get together.
And they do
and
get
it's kind
together.
of
Of course they
it's really
did.
annoying.
And that's played off the back foot down to Zach Crawley at wide at long off for a single. Soward moves into the 60s. It's not a rom-com, but one of my favourite films is Brief Encounter with Trevor Howard and who is it?
Oh my word!
He's out. Rayan Ahmed has got. Well, I'm thinking about a 1945 black and white film, and I was sort of gazing off. Rayan Ahmed's got his second wicket. The review has gone up. Just because I was looking away for a second there, do you want to either Will or Jace?
That was
reveal to
the classic leg break dismissal where the batsman is playing it just slightly, it's bowled into the wicket, and it's just then spun away, and it's just taken the tiny little flick of the outside edge, and hopefully gone straight to keeper. But I don't think he's hit that.
Yeah, but he's going to be.
The question is, well, he's
going
to be LBW now.
Yeah. I think he will be LBW, and I think that's what is that what it's been given for, one would imagine.
I think
so, yeah.
Was being given for the LBW,
but that's a pretty good ball to bowl to a brand new batsman.
Yeah, I think the only question might be height, but I think because it hits him on the back leg, it should be fine. In fact, it's
umpire's call and
umpire's call on impact, umpire's call on hitting. But that said, I think that's fair enough. I think that. Some of you think, it just clipped the edge of leg stump and he was unlucky. I feel with that one, it looked out, and indeed it's been given out. And that is the very dangerous Salman, who's been removed for just one. Now that changes things.
That is significant.
Another one bites the dust. I think that is going to be out, Fred. Another one bites the dust.
Now
I think at 155 for 6, you would say that England are in the ascendancy now. Would you agree, Will?
I would say so. I think it has swung slightly towards England, but I would say not as much as... Because I do think that Pakistan have got a little bit more in the middle order.
Yeah, they've got this man to come still, who I presume is coming in next, who has been underused so far in this test, but is a very capable player. I believe it's going to be this guy.
I'm a-comin'. I'm a-comin' for you. I'm a-comin' for you, Jamal.
Yeah, Ahmed Jamal, he's got an average of 30, which is not bad for a number 8. A useful number 8, as Gary would say. A valuable number 8. I don't think you can... Would you regard yourself as unlucky to be given out on that one? I wouldn't. I think that with the umpire is perfectly lined up to see that one, and there can't be too much doubt. Even if it's clipping, it's going to hit, because there are some that are clipping when the guy's all the way back on his, and there's not much distance to travel. I think that's the key. Anyway, oh my word, that turned, and that's been turned round the corner by Jamal first up. But I'm not sure he knew too much about it. Hands on head from Ben Stokes, and at the end of the 52nd over, very successful one. The introduction of Rayan Ahmed. Maybe they should have brought him on a little earlier. Is working the genie for England at the moment. 155 for 6.
Blair says, when Harry Met Sally is amazing, 500 Days of Summer, it's pretty good in the same vein. And he also says, I wrote that before you mentioned the films.
No,
Ben
right,
McCormack
okay,
says,
nice.
Is Rayan Ahmed slightly embarrassing Ben Stokes here? Looks like he should be bowling more overs from the paltry amount he's been allowed to so far.
Right, we do a change. I will hand over to the next squadron. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Will. Thanks, Jace.
Thanks,
just to
is
say,
bloody messy here.
We did take 2 wickets. Let me just emphasise that bloody messy.
Yeah, you did abuse 2 commentators. Yes,
I did.
I know.
No problem. I'm off. See you much later.
See you, Forthy. Thanks.
Welcome, Messi.
Thank you, Jason. I think Pakistan are in a huge strife here. I'm not like Will. I think they really are at the edge of the abyss, because this is only going to get harder the better.
Anyway, Leach is going to continue. The first ball's a dot ball to Jamal, who's sort of blinking his eyes and looking up and seeing in the bright sun, and that's full and fast and down the leg side, and worked off the pad straight to Ahmed, and they trot through for a single as Tony ensconces himself and gets himself ready to
support you, Jason. You're the ball by ball man.
I am
nearly the colour water.
That colour is silver this morning.
So it's a very nice way of saying not saying grey, but thank you for that.
Leach over the wicket to Saud. That's just dinked in just behind Square on the leg side. Square picks it up and lobs it back. They trot through for single, and the score moves on to 158 for 6.
So all has a slightly different hue to it after those 2 comparatively quick wickets, doesn't it?
It does. Leach, 2 slips, or a slip in the gully. And that's again off the sort of bottom corner of the bat round to the leg side. Fielded by the man just behind Square. No run.
And Saud Shakil sort of cast somewhat in the Jamie Smith mode. See your phone going off, Jason.
Yeah, he wants me to take some pills. That's worked into the leg side, out to Atkinson on the boundary, and he's sort of run in from the boundary and picks it up, lobs it to Bashir, who then lobs it to the bowler. Saud gets another single. So Jamal gets another single and brings Saud on strike. Leach continuing with this random wicket to Saud. That's a reverse sweep, and that's well stopped by Ben Stokes, who anticipated that. Went wide from slip. Didn't quite carry to him. It was a good sweep. It was all on the floor, but it's a good stop by Stokes.
Yeah, he was very lively, wasn't he?
Yeah. Okay, it's a good time to remind people that at exactly £6:30 this hour, the GPL will close. It's currently at £82. There have been 30 overs bowled so far today. 86 runs have been scored. So about 3 and over. we're likely to get the best part of 90 overs today if the light holds. So that will be 270 runs for the day. But who knows what's going to happen. But it's a great time to go to the GPL. Go to GorillaCricket.com, click on competition, and you can enter the GPL there. And if you're the only one who picks how many runs for the day, you'll get the pot all yourself.
Ryan's going to continue. The first ball is one of his fit, fast, flat, fizzy leg spinners. It doesn't really spin very much.
It's a lot of Fs.
It does.
Fit, fast, flat fizzes.
And just defended by Jamal. He's now got a man just behind square, short in, catching, and that's punched nicely with a straight bat down to wide mid-on mid-wicket. Crawley runs around the boundary, feels that Jamal ambles through for 2. As we watch the two sort of hand positions for Rayan as he bowls a leggy and a googly. It's fair to say I don't think it's that easy to pick from him, and that's Jamal's given that an almighty smear, and he's managed to get something on it, but it's not where he wanted it to go. It's gone down to Leach at his quick deep square leg, all on the floor, and the batsmen have run through for single. It's 162 for 6. And Jamal is not going to hang around here. He's not that kind of player. But it's Saud pacing at the moment. It's full and flighty and just punched out by Saud. That's money for old rope, really. As long as you can get on a bat on that, that's always going to be a single. Crawley does the needful on the boundary. And that's a single to Saud.
Yeah, Rayan may be just a little excitable, but no reason why he wouldn't be, but didn't quite control it.
On line, on length, and that's played nicely by Jamal off the front foot to the wide mid-on. But there's no run.
I've still realised I've got the session times wrong, because it's a shorter session after lunch.
Yep.
Oh, is it?
Yes, I've got to redo those as well.
Last ball defended by Jamal. That's the end of the over. 54 overs are gone. Pakistan on 163 for 6. Saud has moved to 62, and Jamal has quickly moved to 6.
Update from Pune. India are now 142 for 9, trailing by 117 runs. Ben McCormick says, is Rian Ahmed slightly embarrassing Ben Stokes here? Looks like he should have bowled more overs than the paltry amount that he's been allowed. Yeah, it's a good question. And Leah says, come on, Tony, the Silver Fox is a pretty good nickname. You'd share it with one of only 2 men to have won more than 100 NASCAR races, David Pearson. The other one is Richard the King Petty. You are full of completely arcane information as far as I'm concerned there.
Leach is in, that's worked with a nice sweep, fine sweep, past a diving Ollie Pope at short leg down to the man on the boundary, and a single is taken. And, everyone close up for a minute. Leach comes in again, short and punched off the back foot. That passed the man at mid-on. That's going to be everyone to the boundary. That is 4 runs.
Yeah, just sat up, but he muscled it really, didn't he? Pretty straight. There is a man at mid-on.
Yeah,
and
all you have to
he
do
would
is beat
have
him.
no chance. So basically, it was threaded the line between mid-on and the bowler. It was pretty straight. He's got a lot of power, has Jamal.
Leach, that's a better ball, much better ball. That's a classic left armour. He's made him grope for the ball. It's spun sharply away. Smith takes the bails off, but I don't think his back foot had moved
Money
anywhere.
for old grope.
I mean, that's really quite close to the edge, so that's a beautiful ball by Leach. That's a good response.
Yeah, again, we were saying earlier with Bashir, just hold it back a little bit. Just don't push it quite so full.
Leach goes for
Like
the
that
Yorker, and Jamal drags it out of the block hole, or bunts it out of the block hole into the offside.
It's risk and reward for the spinners. 2 full, and it's actually quite easy to defend. If you want to get the movement, then you just have to hold it back a bit.
You need some up and down as well. You need
So I mean, you get the example there where Jamal just drove it superbly, but you also get the very next ball, which is superbly, moves away from the right-hander.
It's back to the slightly too quick stuff from Leach. That's on leg stump and defended into the leg side.
So tossing it up full is a run preventer. Dropping it just slightly shorter gets more movement, higher risk to the batsman, but greater chance of being hit.
And again, that's bowled into the pitch. Jamal punches that back. Leach fields off his own bowling. That's the end of the over. Pakistan 168 for 6. Messi.
Leah, some more arcane NASCAR knowledge. He says Fireball Roberts was named thusly from his baseball days. He then died in a fireball racing stock cars, which is sort of nominative determinism almost.
I still want to know whether the Newman Haas racing team, Newman's own brand of sauces came first, or whether it was as a result
dressings.
of.
It was dressings, really, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
His speciality.
As he was an absolute massive NASCAR fan. Anyway, here's Ahmed. That's a leggy that Sal just fiddles at a little bit. That just sort of squeeze it out into the offside. Safety, but for no run. You don't really much get. Here we go, down the wicket, and Ryan sees him coming, drags it back to the length, and he gets a top edge on that overslip. Leach chases back down towards third man and fields it, and they run 2.
But there again was a perfect example of that risk and reward. Shorter, greater turn. Batsman was out. Well, not greater turn actually. It kind of more went on with the arm, but it encourages the batsman down the track. You might go for a few, but you might also more likely to get a wicket with it.
Very full and floaty by Ryan to follow up, and Sal just stays in his crease and just pushes that out to the offside for a single.
I mean, considering he's not had too much action for a fair while, he's found his line and length.
Yeah, he's bobbed
very well, has Rayan Ahmed.
That's a good ball. That's nicely flighted, held back a bit, sort of squeezed off the outside edge of the bat by Jamal through the vacant point area, and they take a single.
Rather vindicates England's bowling selection for this match.
Wide of the crease, and Sal just drops a bat on that into the wide open areas in the offside. I think that's Crawley. Is it Crawley? No, it's Brooke who comes in from the boundary to field that. And has to trot back another 40 odd yards.
His average is coming back in now. That's probably more as a result of his test performances than it is
of
his games for Leicestershire.
Last ball of the over. That's defended stoutly by Jamal, and they get a single for it because there's nobody at mid-on. And that ends the over. Pakistan 174 for 6. Jamal's moved to 12 off 17, going nicely. The Saudis sort of moved to 67 off 122.
I think New Zealand last year was his last Test cricket, wasn't it? At Trent Bridge.
Rayan, yeah, he had one Test, I think. In
took 2 for 27. Seifert and Phillips also got involved in the run out of Darryl Mitchell. He played against Ireland. No, he got 4 for 45 against Ireland at Trent Bridge. But that would have been a limited overs game, wasn't it? Because that wasn't a Test match against Ireland at Trent Bridge, was it?
Don't think so. No.
Then he played in the white ball series against the West Indies at sort of the end of 23. But yeah, he's not been.
No, his last Test match was against India at Rajkot. He took 3 for 180 odd.
Leach, flat at the stumps, defended, no run.
Oh, yeah.
He took 2 for 85 in the first innings and 1 for 108 in the second, so it was tough work.
That's just a bit too short by Leach. That's punched off the back foot, down the ground by Jamal. Duckett fields on the boundary. And Jamal walks through for a single. Pakistan 175 for 6. As the brains trust in the commentators in Rawalpindi work out what they should do now. 4 eyes.
I do like the side of seeing David Gower back on there. I must say.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Leach in again. That's on the leg stump. That's just pushed past the short leg, and easy enough by Saud, and he takes an easy single down to the other end, and everybody starts running around. There's a change of left to right hander, which is another reason why the bowlers aren't really setting. I think the left hand right hand combination is hard for them to get bowled consistent line and length. Anyway, here's Leach. That's a nice ball on off stump and straightens with the spin, and Jamal defends. Leach. Oh, and that's another beauty. He's really stretching for that one, Jamal, and the ball turns and bounces quite significantly here. That's just whistled past the outside edge of the bat.
India all out for 156, trailing by 103 runs.
Last for the over, and that is wider and more tempting by Leach. Jamal doesn't miss out, he just strokes that away to the man on the boundary. Wanders a single down to the other end, and that's the end of the over. Pakistan 177 for 6.
Yeah, no,
and
sorry, go on.
Another interesting parallel I can tell you. The odds on England winning this match, $1.85. The odds on New Zealand beating India are $1.89. So it's so parallel in so many ways. It's hard to believe.
Oh, just looking at Rayan, yeah, no, he played 3 tests against India, didn't he? And although he took a couple of wickets, they were all at a cost. 2 for 105, 3 for 65, 3 for 88, 1 for 108.
Well, that's his problem, I think, at the moment, is that he's very much an attacking leg swimmer, and he will go for runs. He doesn't have that control necessarily. Anyway, he's in now. That's defended off the front foot by Jamal. He punches the ball straight back to Rayan.
But then, with that context, it makes you realise why perhaps Ben Stokes has been sparing with him.
Defended into the leg side on this occasion by Jamal.
He's got like his stock attack is.
Well, he's not even used Root yet.
I think he did yesterday. He hasn't used him today.
Floated into the block hole, and Jamal digs it out to the man at the short mid wicket. No run.
But you've got almost like Pakistan did really with Khan and Noman Ali. You've got Bashir and Leach.
You've got a nice mix of different styles.
Yeah, but then you get in short, sharp shocks from Rayan and Atkinson, say.
Rayan from wide of the stumps, fired it in towards off stump, turns away and is defended by Jamal. He's been bottled up quite a lot in this over. And there goes the release shot, but he can't beat the man at mid-off.
Joe Root had 1 over yesterday for 3 runs, so he didn't exactly get carted. I would imagine it might have been a changing ends or a towards
last of
innings
the over. Oh, and he's got him with the googly. It was very wide. It was signalled as the googly. Jamal has tried to play that into the offside, just chopped down on it, and I think it's just rolled back onto the stumps as a result. That is, and it's another wicket to Rayan. He's running through the tail here.
Well, upper tail.
Just looking at the ball again. Yep, chopped it into the ground. It's just had enough topspin to roll back and clip the top and middle leg.
Another one bites the dust. I think that is going to be out, Fred. Another one bites the dust.
And that chap we keep seeing every time he takes a wicket is his dad, who's out there watching him. He must be a very, very happy man indeed.
Well, he will be very happy when younger brother makes his debut for England in about 4 years' time.
Yeah, there's the two of them.
Farhan Ahmed, who's a very
Well, he's been
handy
playing for the Lions, hasn't he? He's been doing all right for the
played
Lions.
for the Lions, played for England under-19s in the under-19 World Cup, played for Nottingham a couple of games this year, one again in a board draw against Surrey, where he took 7 for in his first class game, and 10 in the match, but it was on the road.
It would be appropriate for both of them to be in the team for the next test of England versus India at Ahmedabad. Of course.
Yes,
Rayan Ahmedabad. Yes. But that won't be for a while. Remember, England don't play in the subcontinent again until 2027. They've got 2 tests in Bangladesh.
Yeah.
So which makes the sort of psychology of this game interesting. I mean, yeah, it is kind of a one-off with all eyes on India at home and then the Ashes. You know, this is a sort of a, it's a one-off occasion almost when you face these different conditions. You don't have to then kind of worry about it.
Yeah, and Saud must be starting to worry now with Noman Ali coming to the crease, and we'll give you his jingle in a minute, that England are locking in potentially a quite substantial first innings lead here.
177 to, they want a lead of 70 or 80.
They do.
If they can.
On a wearing pitch. Anyway, Bashir is going to come into the attack now.
Which means they'd have to rattle through the last 3 in pretty sharp order, because the lead is 90. You've still got 3 wickets left, and very importantly, you've still got Saud Shakil, who is very nicely set and playing beautifully.
And you've got 10 minutes left to get into the GPL with the prospect of England batting a little faster than this.
The Prayers Day GPL. It's open half an hour
buy
longer.
some more tickets.
Yeah, priced in. Anyway, Bashir round the wicket, and that's floaty and on leg stump, and that's just dinked into the leg side. There's no short leg, so it's fairly safe to just knock it away. And there is no run.
I think Jamal's going to be disappointed with that. As a shot.
Another very full and flighty ball. Actually, this one's knocked away in the leg side with a bit more power and a bit more along the ground, and they just shuffle through for a single.
The Jamal shot, he actually got a lot of bat on it.
Yeah, just a lot of the toe.
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't just like an inside edge. It was meat, inside meat.
Rayan from nowhere suddenly got 3 wickets for virtually nothing.
But he's not had that many overs.
No, he can't be more than 3 for 20.
Yeah, he was desperate to bowl. All of his body language for a while was going, "Get me on."
And that's slightly faster by Bashir. On the stumps, defended stoutly by Noman Ali for his first ball. Here's your jingle. Defended again by Noman Ali. Two slips and 2 men catching in the covers for Ali. And that is swept nicely. Well fielded by Rayan Ahmed. Is he going to give us overthrows this time? No, he's not, as he was responsible for the overthrows earlier to Bashir from the boundary. But that was a good piece of work by Noman, sweeping off, probably middle and off stump, but picked the right ball to do it on. He gets, and Shakil goes back and just hits it into the ground with no real timing or effort. That's the end of the over. Pakistan on 179 for 7.
Spangley Sai wants to invoke the undo clause. He says, "What chaps, I would like to rescind my doomed comment from yesterday." Fair enough. Nothing like 2020 hindsight. Leah says Gower's been working a lot in Pakistan over the last few years, not just England matches.
Yeah, he has.
Well, they show good taste by having him there. He loves it there too, I think.
Does he do the PSL?
Yes, he does. Yeah, he has
I
been
thought
doing.
he did. Yeah.
He couldn't get a gig elsewhere, inexplicably, in my book.
7 minutes left on the GPL, which is now at £87.
Ooh, let's get it to 100. Come on. You go to guerillacricket.com/competition. You just go to our website and you'll find competition. You just register. You have to estimate the number of runs that will be scored in the day. Get it on the nose, you win the whole pot. If not, it rolls over till tomorrow.
Rayan bowling to 2 left-handers now, so he's round the wicket. That's speared into the leg stump. No man defends that. And there is no run.
Yeah, I mean, his confidence is sky high at the moment. Benefit of wicket. That was a lovely little leg break.
It was. Scuttled a little bit, so no man did well to cover up and play it with a straight bat. Not electing this time to go for the sweep shot.
Do we know why Noman's spelling changed?
And there's the googly, but it was a bit dragged down. Newman defends off the back foot as he was trying to work that around the corner.
As Forty pointed out, it is a transliteration from a different sort of alphabet, so it's presumably open to interpretation.
Tossed up by Red Ahmed, and Noman gives that the full swing through of the bat, but he can't beat mid-on.
He does kind of give you the impression of being sort of the junior Adil Rashid, though. In a good way, in a very good way. You know, leg break followed by googlies, mixing those two up.
Over the wicket now by Rehan, and that's defended into the leg side with a straight bat by Numan Ali.
If he could just master the greater degree of control, which will come with time, I think. Don't forget how expensive Shane Warne was when he started.
Just contrast this with what it was like 2 years ago when we toured. And he was very raw, and now he's maybe not quite the finished article, but that's he's got a lot more control, and that was a good ball, the googly, as Tony said, defended by Noman. That's the end of the over.
Messers.
So Leah says, nice the final countdown jingle. There was a misprinted cover for that song in Germany in 1999 where they forgot one O in the title. No points for guessing which one.
Oh dear. Yes.
Hombre Nueva says, morning, fantastic GC. They must be very happy they prepared the wicket in such a way. Still, it's looking another fascinating test. I hope you've got lots of GPL picks in, Hombre. Got another 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, according to the clock, I think we've probably got another 5 minutes, but...
Yeah, I mean, that's 2 overs.
Well,
England will want to take them. I'm sure you'll see them rushing at the end of this over to get the second over in, so I'm pretty sure you'll get to...
Bashir, round the wicket.
Their clock is a minute behind the real time, so real time will shut the GPL.
That was punched through point off the back foot. And it's a single to Saud, who'd moved to 70.
Yes, I think the bear sets the GPL. He hasn't got it magically set to the clock in Rawalpindi. Whatever difference it may have to real time.
£89 it is now.
Oh, hey, come on, get on it.
That's pushed down the leg side by Bashir. Noman tries to tickle it around the corner, can't get hold of it. Smartly taken by Smith behind the stumps. He's got good feet for a big lad, and that's as they would say, and that's sort of lap dinked by Noman round the corner.
Uppish, with good awareness of where his field was. He knew there was no man on the 45.
Bashir
at the other end.
That's a better ball. That's straighter. That's turns, forces Saud to defend that.
Is that what you were about to say, Messers?
Yes, I said he's batting.
Oh, so we basically said the same shocking joke at the same time.
Much better ball. Saud gets in a bit of a tangle there, playing sort of French cricket to that ball with one leg. He cleared the leg side so he can get the ball around the corner, but then the ball spins sharply away.
Danger of the back foot.
Last for the over, and that's fuller and knocked into the leg side. Sow decides on a quick single. No man goes through, and that's the end of the over.
Well, I predicted
182 for 7.
England would be rushing like lunatics to get another over, and they just seem to be ambling. Maybe they're not so keen after all. 182 for 7 message.
Well, there's no more messages on YouTube, but by the end of the next over, there will have been 29 overs bowled today, which is 39 overs bowled in 2.5 hours, which is a pretty reasonable rate of return.
Very reasonable, I think.
Yeah. And they will have scored, well, so far they've scored 109 runs. So that's a little under 3 and over. But if England bat, which we could expect them to do sometime this afternoon, I'd be surprised if it stayed that low. Just helping with working out your GPL picks. Ombre Nueva says, joke time, when is a lifetime ban not a lifetime ban? Answer, when it's for Warner.
Presumably last over by Rehan, defended on the offside by Sound off the back foot. There is no run.
Yes,
over the wicket.
Anybody's not heard, Warner's lifetime ban has been rescinded.
So he can play ODIs if he wants to, because he's offered to come back.
No, he won't play for Australia again, but what he was banned from was ever captaining any sanctioned team. So he can now be captain in the BBL, for example.
That was defended again by Noman. Ahmed over the wicket, just one slip. That's the googly that pitches well outside leg and just covered up by Noman.
There are a lot of signals in his run-up as to when the googly might be coming. I think he does go that little bit wider, doesn't he?
Oh, and that's wailed on that one over the men who are up. That's one bounce. Is it one bounce into the boundary?
Yeah, it was.
Nice shot. Straight down over the. It was flighted. It was there to be hit, and no man has made no mistake there, and just bunted that very nicely over everybody's head for 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So what is Rehan going to do? That's forcing him onto the back foot so he can't go down the ground. Defended stoutly by No Man, who's probably thinking of a bit of chai.
Yeah, he's got one ball left, we think, to survive. England
a bit of gardening and everything else to make sure of that.
Yeah.
And that is, ooh, the leg slip is almost in play there. That ball's dropped just short of him, being worked by No Man round the corner. But that is the end of the over. Pakistan on 187 for 7. And I think that is the end of the session. Everyone seems to be walking off.
Yeah, it is. I think England will be happy, very happy. 4 wickets. Remember, Pakistan 73 for 3 at the start.
I'm very happy because I had 3 wickets whilst on air.
Damn, well, Jason.
Just call me Shelley.
I'm not. Well, what you do at the weekend is up to you, of course. But
in fact, don't call me Shelley. Is the pun joke.
Oh yes, surely. Don't call me Shirley. Yeah, very, very good morning for England. It was slow to start, wasn't it? The wickets didn't come.
Well, it was a bit slow all round. It's slow to score.
Saad Shakil and
slow
Shah
to take
Massoud,
wickets.
They look solid. They look very solid indeed. Frustration for a while for England.
Half a chance for Shan.
But then Bashir, who bowled very, very well this morning for his 1. But then Rayan with his 3 has hauled the game back England's way. Pakistan, I don't think they'll feel fully out of it. I mean, they're at, 100 or so, just 80 odd behind, right?
Yeah.
They got 3 wickets, but importantly, they still have Saud Shakil at the crease. So he's well set. Get him to 100. Find someone like Noman can stay with him, and those leads can be whittled away fairly swiftly. Messers, you're smiling away. What's amusing you?
Oh no, I was just looking at the Indian New Zealand game. New Zealand 17 for no wicket in their second innings, so that's a lead of 120, which is going to be very interesting there.
They're warming up nicely for when England go there.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
What are we going to do at lunchtime, Jace?
I think we should have probably a bit of Bishop and Bear.
Go for it.
Bearing in mind it's an hour-long break.
Yeah. So we may have to refresh it. Pick a long one.
I will pick a long one. Where are we? Podcasts. Let's do this one from the start. And we'll see you in an hour.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
The Bishop and the Bear, the Bishop and the Bear, and to the delight of everyone, they're here to share jokes and rants and guests and things. Who knows what any fun they'll bring?
Not affiliated with the Mad Bishop and Bear pub at Paddington Station.
The Bishop and the Bear, bats beyond compare. Buckets of savoir-faire, the Bishop and the Bear.
Welcome back again to the Bishop and Bear, and lots to talk about. We stand on the cusp of the second Test series of the summer. The Sri Lankans are in town, and that can only mean one thing as far as the Bishop and Bear goes. It's Bennett and Son. The work's never done. Well, their work today is going to be talking to us about Sri Lanka. So Bennett and Dylan, his lad, a double header, a double Oligazaram header.
Indeed. Good afternoon, everyone, to all the listeners. We're thrilled to be a part of this. Of the show. There's a lot to dive in, a lot to unwrap.
There is indeed, and Bennett, who you can't see, but I suspect he's wearing a tie Anyway, he always wants to know, what do I wear? What do I dress in for this? He's got an open neck today. Oh my God! Gone all off to a round of golfy look. I love it. Much more casual Bennett. Okay.
Trying to manage expectations. Hello, good afternoon, Bear and Tony and Dylan and all you listeners out there. Greetings wherever you are.
That's kind. Right. So we've got lots of things to talk about. Ben Stokes, obviously, is a huge interest for a number of reasons. Sri Lanka, we'd really like to tap Bennett Dylan's expertise in all things Sri Lanka. We'd also like Dylan not to tap his keyboard. What's happening? I'm intrigued by Sri Lankan domestic cricket, because every time I try and have a look at it, I get more and more confused about how it all works. So hopefully you can give me a bit of information on that. And what struck us, the Bear and my eye this week, obviously we've got more than one eye between us, but you know what I mean, is Jimmy saying, well, actually, do you know what, I fancy a bit of this 100 stuff. So it's kind of interesting. Is he making a point? Particularly in the week when the England captain has fallen foul of the 100. So let's go back to the start there. Chaps, Ben Stokes, right, he, I believe, made 3 games for the Northern Superchargers, 4 runs, no wickets, done his hammy, out for the summer. Seems to be bonkers to me, but was it just unfortunate, or is it all about ECB mismanagement or something else? What do you guys reckon?
Well, I think there's the psychological and physical strain of being the England Test captain. Obviously, he was just out here, playing against the West Indies. There's a lot of strain. Obviously, he's just recovering from his, as we saw, being able to get into his full stride as a bowler. And I think with the franchise cricket, it was just a step too far. Too far for him. He needed a bit more of a break.
Yeah, but Bennett, I mean, to me, obviously the man to ask about this would be Ben Stokes, but my problem with it is not the 100 per se, because that ship sailed. It isn't going to go away in the short term. What bothered me was just sort of the futility of it. Seemed like the ECB just wanted him to pull on the shirt put in 2 or 3 performances to stick some bums on seats and some eyeballs on the TV, rather than, and if that's the case, does that basically mean you don't quite prepare as rigorously, as robustly? You know you've got the shortest game possible to go out and just turn up. Was he fully tuned up, or was the injury likely to have been about not lack of prep, but not as intensive a prep as perhaps there should have been, given how carefully they've tried to look after him?
So Tony, just a few things on that, Tony. It was a very interesting conversation. Just going back to how they manage Jafra Archer, when he came in. He was asked to bowl the hard overs. They just burnt him out, rather than cotton-wooling him and sort of keeping him knowing sort of how we can get the length of time that we can get from a special player like that. Ben Stokes was just coming out in the last series, for example, bowling his overs, bringing on that beautiful balance that England lacked in the years when he didn't bowl, or the time when he didn't play. And I think, again, the 100 was more about, I think, Freddie Flintoff's kind of influence as well.
Coach of the Superchargers. You don't want to say no to him, do you?
You didn't want to say no to him. It's just that brand of cricket, trying to get that momentum going. And again, ECB may have liked that kind of side of things as well. But if I was from the ECB side of things, I would have been more concerned about the England aspect of what could happen, knowing Ben Stokes' history. He's a problem with his knee, and he's not someone who can just get on the field and say, hey, you know what, just be careful, don't do this or don't do that. He's going to go out there and
he goes
himself
all in
on the tray, all out fully, isn't he? So this is the thing, in hindsight, it was an absolute wrong decision, because Sri Lanka series may have been the right place, and look at what's just done to the England setup. Now they need 2 players to fill him up. They don't know whether they're going to go in with a batsman or a bowler, and then bringing in someone like the new boy Cox is not just come out of nowhere. He's played good county cricket, but is he ready?